Once upon a time, in a hidden corner of the world, there lay a kingdom known as Luminera. Luminera was famous for its breathtaking gardens and its ethereal moonlit nights. However, the kingdom's most precious secret was a flower called the Moonflower, which bloomed only once every 100 years under the light of the full moon. Legend had it that the Moonflower could grant a single wish to anyone who found it, but finding it was no easy task. In the village of Willowbrook, nestled at the edge of Luminera's enchanted forest, lived a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. Eloan loved the stories of the Moonflower, and she dreamed of finding it to help her village, which had been suffering from a long drought. One evening, as the full moon began to rise in the sky, Eloan decided to embark on a quest to find the elusive Moonflower. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set off into the forest, guided by the shimmering light of the moon. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, and the moonlight cast a silvery glow on the trees. Eloan followed a winding path that seemed to be illuminated by a gentle, otherworldly light. She came across a wise old owl perched on a branch. "Good evening, wise owl," Eloan greeted. "Can you help me find the Moonflower?" The owl, whose feathers sparkled like stardust, looked at her with keen eyes. "The Moonflower is not easily found, for it hides in a place where light meets shadow and dreams intertwine with reality. You must follow your heart and trust in the guidance of the moon." Eloan thanked the owl and continued her journey. As she walked, she noticed that the moonlight seemed to form patterns on the forest floor, leading her to a hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood a large, ancient tree with branches that seemed to reach out to the sky. Under the tree, Eloan found a stone pedestal with intricate carvings of stars and moons. Atop the pedestal was a small, delicate box. Inside the box was a silver key and a note that read, "To find the Moonflower. Seek the grove where dreams are born. Follow the melody of the moon and the whispers of the night." Eloan looked around and noticed a faint, melodic tune carried by the breeze. She followed the music to a nearby grove, where the trees glowed softly in the moonlight. In the heart of the grove, a crystal-clear pond reflected the light of the full moon. By the edge of the pond, Eloan saw a shimmering path of moonlight leading to a hidden entrance beneath the roots of a great tree. She used the silver key to unlock the entrance, revealing a staircase that descended into the depths of the earth. With determination, Eloan climbed down the staircase, which led her to an underground cavern bathed in a soft, mystical glow. In the center of the cavern was a pedestal with a single, radiant moonflower in full bloom. Its petals glowed with an iridescent light, and the air around it seemed to hum with magic. Eloan approached the moonflower with awe. She gently picked it, knowing that she had to make her wish. She closed her eyes and wished for rain to fall upon her drought-stricken village, hoping that it would bring life back to the land and restore hope to her people. As soon as Eloan made her wish, the moonflower's petals began to sparkle and emit a brilliant light. The light grew brighter and brighter until it enveloped the cavern. When the light faded, Eloan found herself back at the edge of the forest, the moonflower safely in her hands. She hurried back to Willowbrook, where she was greeted by a sky filled with dark, rain-laden clouds. As she arrived, the first drops of rain began to fall. The villagers watched in amazement as the rain nourished the parched earth, and the once dry river began to flow again. Eloan's wish had come true, and the village thrived once more. The story of the Moonflower and Eloan's bravery became a cherished legend, reminding everyone of the magic that lies in selfless wishes and the power of hope. And so, Luminera remained a kingdom of wonder and prosperity, forever touched by the light of the Moonflower and the courage of a young girl who followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Harmonia, music was not just a source of joy but the very essence of life itself. The kingdom was renowned for its symphonies and melodies, which were said to bring peace and prosperity to the land. At the heart of the kingdom stood the Grand Music Hall, where the most magical of tunes were played, and its centerpiece was an ancient, golden harp known as the Celestial Harp. Legend had it that the Celestial Harp was enchanted and could only be played by someone with a truly pure heart. Its melodies had the power to bring about great change and harmony, but over time, its strings had grown silent, and the kingdom's music began to fade. In the nearby village of Melody Brook lived a young girl named Lyra. She was known for her exceptional talent with the violin and her kind heart. Despite her modest background, Lyra had always dreamed of playing the celestial harp and restoring music to its former glory. One day, a mysterious visitor arrived in Melody Brook. He was an old bard named Eldrick, who had traveled far and wide in search of a musician with a pure heart. Eldrick revealed that the celestial harp needed to be awakened by a special melody, and he believed that Lyra was the one destined to restore its magic. With great excitement, Lyra agreed to undertake the quest. Eldrick gave her a golden key, saying it was the only way to access the grand music hall where the celestial harp was kept. As Lyra and Eldrick made their way to the kingdom, they encountered various challenges that tested their resolve and spirit. Their first challenge was crossing the River of Echoes, a shimmering river that reflected not only their physical appearance but also their inner thoughts and feelings. Lyra played a soothing tune on her violin to calm the turbulent waters, and her melody brought tranquility to the river, allowing them to cross safely. The next challenge was navigating through the Forest of Whispers, where the trees were said to speak in riddles and only revealed the way to those who answered correctly. Lyra and Eldrick listened carefully to the whispers of the trees and solved the riddles with wisdom and patience, gaining passage through the forest. Finally, they reached the Grand Music Hall, which was locked and shrouded in silence. Lyra used the golden key to unlock the door, and they entered the Grand Hall, where the celestial harp stood silent and majestic. The harp was covered in dust, and its strings were still. Eldrick explained that the special melody Lyra needed to play was not a mere tune but a composition that reflected the heart's true desires and emotions. He encouraged her to play from her heart, drawing upon all the love, hope, and dreams she had for her kingdom. With trembling fingers, Lyra began to play her violin, pouring her emotions and dreams into the music. Her melody was pure and heartfelt, weaving through the Grand Music Hall like a golden thread of magic. As she played, the air seemed to shimmer, and the celestial harp began to resonate with her tune. The harp strings glowed with a soft, celestial light, and a harmonious, enchanting melody filled the hall. The music spread throughout the kingdom, reaching every corner of Harmonia. The people felt a renewed sense of joy and unity, and the once silent harp continued to play, bringing prosperity and peace to the land. The celestial harp's melody became a symbol of hope and renewal for Harmonia, and Lyra was celebrated as a hero. The music of the kingdom flourished once more, and the Grand Music Hall became a place where the magic of melodies was cherished and shared. Eldrick, proud of Lyra's success, blessed her with a magical violin that would allow her to create melodies of great beauty and power. Lyra continued to share her music with the kingdom, and her melodies inspired others to pursue their dreams and embrace the magic within their hearts. And so, the kingdom of Harmonia thrived with the enchanting melodies of the celestial harp and Lyra's violin, a reminder of the power of music and the pure-hearted musicians who bring it to life. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village nestled between whispering woods and the sparkling lake, there lived a young girl named Isla. Isla was known for her curiosity and her love for stargazing. Every night, she would sit by the lake, marveling at the constellations and dreaming of adventures among the stars. One night, while gazing up at the sky, Isla noticed something unusual, a brilliant, silver lantern floating down from the moon. It glowed softly, casting a gentle light across the dark waters of the lake. Mesmerized, Isla watched as the lantern descended and landed softly on the water's surface. Unable to contain her excitement, Isla waded into the lake and retrieved the lantern. As she held it in her hands, she felt a warm, comforting glow emanating from within. The lantern had delicate carvings of stars and moons, and it seemed to hum with a magical energy. That night, as Isla prepared for bed, she placed the lantern on her bedside table. To her amazement, the lantern began to glow brighter, and a soft, melodious voice echoed from within. "Greetings, kind-hearted soul. I am the Moonlit Lantern, and I hold the power to grant a single wish. To make your wish come true, you must use it for the greater good." Isla was stunned but quickly gathered her thoughts. She had always wished for something that could help others, something that could bring joy and peace to her village. After much contemplation, she made her wish. I wish for the village to be filled with happiness and for the well-being of everyone who lives here." The lantern's glow intensified, and a shimmering light enveloped Isla. "Your wish is granted," the lantern said. "But remember, true happiness comes from within and from sharing your heart with others." The next morning, the village awoke to a miraculous sight. The once ordinary fields and gardens were now filled with vibrant flowers, lush fruits, and sparkling streams. The village square was transformed into a stunning place of joy, with colorful banners and cheerful music filling the air. The villagers were astonished and overjoyed. They gathered around Isla, who explained the story of the moonlit lantern and the wish she had made. Inspired by Isla's selflessness, the villagers worked together to maintain the newfound beauty and to create a place of harmony and happiness for all. In the days that followed, the village thrived like never before. The once modest homes were now surrounded by blooming gardens, and the lake sparkled with a magical light that seemed to dance with the stars. People from nearby villages came to visit, and the small village of Isla became known far and wide as a place of wonder and delight. Isla continued to gaze at the stars every night, grateful for the magic that had brought so much joy to her home. She often found herself by the lake, where she had first discovered the lantern, feeling a deep sense of contentment and connection to the stars. One clear night, as she sat by the lake, the moonlit lantern appeared once more. The same soft, melodious voice spoke to her. "Dear Isla, your wish has brought happiness to many, and your heart has shown great kindness. For this, you are now the guardian of the moonlit lantern. Use its magic wisely and share its light with others in need." Isla accepted the responsibility with grace and continued to use the lantern's magic to help those who needed it most. The village of Isla remained a beacon of joy and kindness, its story becoming a cherished legend among the stars. And so, Isla's life was filled with purpose and fulfillment, and her village thrived under the magic of the moonlit lantern. The tale of the lantern and the kind-hearted girl was passed down through generations, a reminder of the power of selflessness and the magic that can be found in the simplest of wishes. And they all lived happily ever after. The Whispering Brook. Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by majestic mountains and lush forests, there was a magical brook known as the Whispering Brook. This brook was famous for its sparkling waters and the gentle whispers that could be heard if one listened closely. Legend had it that the brook could grant a single wish to someone with a true and selfless heart. In a small cottage near the edge of the forest lived a kind young woman named Clara. Clara was known throughout the valley for her generosity and her unwavering kindness. She would often help her neighbors with their chores, care for the sick, and share her meager meals with those in need. Despite her own modest means, Clara was beloved by all. One summer's day, Clara overheard a conversation among the village elders about the Whispering Brook and its magical properties. The village had been struggling with a severe drought, and crops were failing. Hearing about the brook's power, Clara decided that she wanted to find it and use its magic to save her village. The journey to the brook. Early the next morning, Clara set off towards the forest, guided by the tales she had heard. She carried a small knapsack with a loaf of bread, a flask of water, and a map she had drawn from old stories. The path to the Whispering Brook was said to be challenging, but Clara was determined to succeed. As Clara ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a wise old turtle resting on a large rock. The turtle looked up at her and said, "To find the Whispering Brook, you must first answer my riddle. I have keys but open no locks, I have space but no room, you can enter but never go outside. What am I?" Clara thought carefully and answered, "A piano." The turtle nodded and slowly moved aside, revealing a hidden path that continued through the forest. The enchanted meadow. Following the path, Clara reached a vibrant meadow filled with colorful flowers and fluttering butterflies. In the middle of the meadow was a sparkling stream that seemed to hum with a soft melody. Clara noticed a graceful deer standing by the stream, drinking from the water. The deer spoke with a gentle voice, "To cross the stream and continue your journey, you must solve this riddle. The more you take, the more you leave behind." "What am I?" Clara considered the riddle and then said, "Footsteps." The deer smiled and stepped aside, revealing stepping stones across the stream. Clara carefully crossed the stream, her heart full of hope and determination. The Whispering Brook on the other side of the stream, Clara found herself in a serene glade with the Whispering Brook flowing gently through it. The brook was clear and shimmering under the sun, with its waters making a soothing, whispering sound. Clara approached the brook and listened closely, hoping to hear what it had to say. A soft, melodic voice from the brook spoke. To receive the gift of the Whispering Brook, you must make a wish with a pure heart. What you wish for should be for the benefit of others. Clara closed her eyes and made her wish. I wish for my village to have abundant water and thriving crops, so that everyone may have enough to eat and live in happiness. As Clara spoke, the brook's waters glowed with a soft, golden light. The light began to spread outwards, flowing through the forest and into the valley where Clara's village was situated. Clara felt a warm, comforting breeze as the magic of the brook began to work. The return home. When Clara returned to her village, she was met with a heartwarming sight. The once dry fields were now lush and green, the river was flowing abundantly, and the villagers were joyfully celebrating. The crops were flourishing, and there was plenty of food for everyone. The village was transformed, and the people were grateful for Clara's bravery and kindness. They celebrated her with a grand feast and honored her with the title of the village's beloved guardian. Clara's wish had brought prosperity and joy to her home, and the Whispering Brook's magic had made a difference in the lives of many. The tale of Clara and the Whispering Brook became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of selflessness and the magic that comes from a heart full of love. And so, Clara's village thrived under the gentle magic of the Whispering Brook, forever blessed by the kind and courageous heart of one remarkable young woman. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Luminera, there was a hidden sanctuary known as the Enchanted Meadow. This meadow was famous for its sparkling, ever-blooming flowers and the ancient starfruit tree that stood at its center. It was said that the starfruit tree could grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who approached it with a spirit of generosity and selflessness. In a cozy cottage at the edge of Luminera lived a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. Eloan had a special bond with nature and was loved by everyone in her village for her compassion. Her closest companion was a playful and clever squirrel named Nutmeg, who had a knack for solving riddles and finding hidden treasures. One clear, starry night, as the full moon cast its gentle glow over Luminera, Eloan and Nutmeg discovered an old, ornate key hidden beneath the roots of a great oak tree near their cottage. The key was engraved with a star symbol and accompanied by a faded note that read, "The Enchanted Meadow awaits. Use the key on the night of stars to unlock the magic within." Excited and intrigued, Eloan and Nutmeg decided to embark on a journey to find the Enchanted Meadow and the legendary starfruit tree. They followed the clues in the note and ventured into the moonlit forest, guided by the shimmering light of the stars above. The forest path led them to the first challenge, the Gate of Whispers. This gate was adorned with intricate carvings and was guarded by a gentle, glowing spirit who spoke. To enter the Enchanted Meadow, you must answer this riddle. I am always in front of you, but you can never see me. What am I? Eloan thought carefully, and Nutmeg chattered excitedly. The future, Eloan answered. The spirit smiled and the gate slowly opened, revealing a path to the meadow. As they continued, they encountered the second challenge, the Bridge of Echoes. This was a bridge made of translucent crystal that spanned a sparkling river. The bridge would only reveal its path when they sang a harmonious melody. Nutmeg hopped up and down, and Eloan began to sing a sweet, melodious tune. The bridge shimmered and began to glow, forming a solid path that led them across the river and closer to their destination. Finally, they reached the Enchanted Meadow. The meadow was filled with the soft, magical light of countless glowing flowers. At the center stood the majestic starfruit tree, its branches heavy with star-shaped fruits that glowed softly in the moonlight. To make their wish, Eloan and Nutmeg had to show their true intentions. They approached the starfruit tree and Eloan spoke from the heart, "I wish for the happiness and well-being of all the people in our village. I want them to have joy, peace, and prosperity." As Eloan spoke her wish, the starfruit tree's branches glowed brightly, and the stars above seemed to twinkle more vividly. A gentle breeze carried the magic of the starfruit tree across the land, touching every corner of Luminera. When Eloin and Nutmeg returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were lush and green, the streams sparkled with clear, refreshing water, and the people were filled with joy and contentment. The story of Eloin and Nutmeg's adventure and the magic of the enchanted meadow became a beloved tale in Luminara. It reminded everyone of the power of selfless wishes and the importance of kindness and generosity. And so, the enchanted meadow remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came alive under the light of the stars. The end. In a serene village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was a magical grove known only to a few. This grove, called the Moonlit Grove, was famous for its enchanting glow and the legend of its hidden treasure, a magical moonstone that could grant a single wish. In this village lived a brave little fox named Finn. Though small in size, Finn had a heart full of courage and a keen sense of adventure. He often heard the stories about the Moonlit Grove and dreamed of finding the magical moonstone to help his village. One crisp autumn evening, as the full moon rose and bathed the world in silver light, Finn decided it was time to embark on his adventure. With a small satchel filled with essentials, he set out toward the Moonlit Grove, guided by the shimmering moonlight. The path to the grove was winding and full of shadows, but Finn was determined. As he walked, the moonlight revealed the path ahead, and he could hear the soft rustling of leaves and the distant, gentle hum of the grove's magic. After some time, Finn reached the edge of the Moonlit Grove. The grove was as magical as the tales described, trees with silver leaves, flowers that glowed like stars, and a gentle, melodic breeze that whispered secrets of the night. In the center of the grove stood a grand, ancient oak tree. Its trunk was twisted and gnarled, and its branches reached high into the night sky. At the base of the tree, a small, glimmering object caught Finn's eye. It was a golden key. Finn approached the key and found a scroll beside it. Unrolling the scroll, he read the following riddle: "Brave heart, if you seek the stone, find the keeper of secrets unknown. In the center where the moonlight's warm, the guardian waits to keep you from harm." Finn pondered the riddle and looked around. The moonlight seemed to warm a particular spot in the grove, where a small, silver fountain bubbled gently. He made his way to the fountain, where a wise old owl perched on a nearby branch. "Greetings, little fox," the owl said in a voice as soft as the breeze. "I am Olwen, the guardian of the Moonlit Grove. To find the moonstone, you must prove your bravery and wisdom." Finn nodded eagerly. "What must I do?" Olwen explained that the moonstone was hidden within a magical cave at the heart of the grove, but to enter, Finn had to solve 3 riddles. Only then would the path to the cave be revealed. The first riddle was, "By day, I'm not here, but come at night, I sparkle and twinkle, a beautiful sight. I'm not a star, but I'm close to one, find me, and your journey has just begun." Finn thought for a moment and realized that the answer was the moon. He looked up, and the moon's light seemed to brighten, revealing a hidden path that led deeper into the grove. The second riddle came from Olwen: "I have a heart that does not beat, yet I keep time and am very neat. With hands that point but do not hold, find me to uncover the next clue told." Finn immediately thought of a clock. He searched around the grove and found an ancient sundial hidden among the flowers. At its base, he found a small keyhole, and he used the golden key from earlier to open a hidden compartment containing the next clue. The final riddle was, "In the heart of the grove where shadows dance, you'll find a light that gives you a chance. When you're lost in darkness, look for the glow, the path to the moonstone it will show." Finn made his way to the center of the grove, where the moonlight was brightest. There, he saw a beautiful, glowing orb hovering above a small pedestal. As he touched the orb, the pedestal slid open to reveal a hidden passage. With excitement, Finn ventured into the passage, which led to a small, sparkling cave. At its center was the magical moonstone, glowing softly and radiating warmth. Finn carefully picked up the moonstone, and as he did, he felt a sense of peace and joy. Returning to the village, Finn was greeted as a hero. The moonstone's magic filled the village with happiness and prosperity. Finn used his wish to ensure that his village would always have enough food and that everyone would be safe and content. From then on, Finn was celebrated not only for his bravery but also for his kind heart. The moonlit grove remained a place of wonder, and Finn's adventure became a cherished tale that inspired others to seek their own dreams with courage and hope. And so, the brave little fox and his village lived happily ever after, under the watchful glow of the magical moonstone. The end. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a whispering forest, there was an orchard like no other. The orchard was known far and wide as the Enchanted Orchard. It was said that the fruit from this orchard had magical properties, bringing happiness, wisdom, and even love to those who ate it. However, the orchard was protected by a mystical enchantment that made it impossible to enter without the guidance of the orchard's guardian, a wise old owl named Oliver. Oliver had feathers of silver and eyes that sparkled like stars. He had lived in the orchard for centuries, ensuring that the magic within remained safe and pure. The villagers admired Oliver and respected the magic of the orchard, so they never tried to enter without permission. One crisp autumn morning, a young girl named Eliza, who had recently moved to the village with her family, overheard tales of the Enchanted Orchard. Curious and brave, Eliza decided she wanted to see the orchard for herself. She ventured into the forest and, after much searching, found the entrance to the orchard. A grand, ancient gate covered in ivy stood before her, guarded by Oliver, who was perched solemnly on a branch above. "Hello, Oliver," Eliza called out, her voice full of wonder. "I've heard so much about the Enchanted Orchard. May I enter?" Oliver's eyes twinkled with both amusement and caution. "Entering the Enchanted Orchard is a privilege, young one. It requires a heart that is pure and intentions that are kind. Tell me, what is it you seek?" Eliza thought for a moment. She had heard the orchard could grant wishes, but her wish was not for herself. "I wish to find something to help my mother. She's been feeling sad since we moved here. If I could find something magical, maybe it would cheer her up." Oliver's gaze softened. "A noble wish indeed. Follow me." Oliver led Eliza through the gate and into the orchard. It was a place of wonder, trees with shimmering golden apples, bushes heavy with silver berries, and flowers that glowed softly in the twilight. The air was filled with a sweet, enchanting fragrance. As they walked, Eliza noticed a particularly ancient tree at the center of the orchard. Its bark was a deep, rich brown, and its leaves sparkled as if dusted with stardust. Oliver hovered near the tree and said, "This is the Heart Tree. It holds the most powerful magic of the orchard. If you are to find something to help your mother, you must ask the Heart Tree." Eliza approached the tree and gently touched its trunk. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Please, Heart Tree, help me find something to make my mother happy." The Heart Tree's leaves rustled softly, and a single, radiant fruit fell from its branches. It was unlike anything Eliza had ever seen, an apple with a brilliant, iridescent glow. Oliver guided her back to the gate with the enchanted apple. "Give this to your mother with all your heart," Oliver instructed. "Its magic is not in the apple itself, but in the love and intention behind it." Eliza thanked Oliver and hurried home. When she presented the glowing apple to her mother, she was astonished. "Where did you find this?" her mother asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Eliza explained the magical orchard and how she wished to make her mother happy. Her mother's heart warmed at the thoughtfulness of her daughter. She took a small bite of the enchanted apple and felt a surge of joy and comfort she hadn't felt in a long time. The magic of the apple did not only lift her spirits but also brought her a newfound appreciation for the beauty around her. The family soon became beloved members of the village, and Eliza's mother found happiness in her new surroundings. From that day on, Eliza and her mother often visited the Enchanted Orchard, where they would sit beneath the Heart Tree, feeling grateful for the magic that had touched their lives. Oliver the owl remained the steadfast guardian of the orchard, knowing that the true magic lay in the kindness and love that brought people to the gates of his enchanted realm. And so, in the village near the Whispering Forest, the Enchanted Orchard continued to thrive, its magic weaving through the lives of those who approached it with pure hearts and noble wishes. The end. Once upon a time, in the heart of the verdant kingdom of Eldoria, there was a mystical well known for its enchanted waters. The well, hidden in a secret grove, was said to grant the deepest desires of those who could solve its riddle. The kingdom's people spoke of it with awe and reverence, though few had ever ventured to find it. In the village of Windmere lived a kind-hearted young woman named Eleanor. She was known for her unwavering generosity and her ability to bring smiles to everyone around her. Yet, despite her kindness, Eleanor faced a great challenge. Her village was suffering from a terrible drought. The once lush fields were now parched, and the river that flowed through the village had dwindled to a mere trickle. One day, Eleanor decided to embark on a quest to find the Whispering Well and ask for its aid. She hoped that the well could restore the water to her village and bring life back to the land. Armed with nothing but a small pouch of supplies and a heart full of hope, she set out towards the forest. Guided by the legends she had heard since childhood. The forest was dense and filled with the songs of birds and the rustling of leaves. As Eleanor ventured deeper, she encountered a series of challenges. The first was a mischievous fox who blocked her path. The fox posed a riddle: I have a heart that doesn't beat, a face that never smiles, and a song that never ends. What am I? Eleanor thought for a moment and replied, a clock. The fox, impressed with her answer, allowed her to pass and pointed her towards a winding path leading further into the forest. The next challenge was a shimmering, ethereal bridge guarded by a graceful deer. The deer said, to cross this bridge, you must answer this: I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Eleanor smiled and answered, a flame. The deer nodded approvingly and let her cross the bridge, directing her to a glade where the Whispering Well was said to be hidden. As Eleanor entered the glade, she was greeted by the well, its waters shimmering with a soft, silver light. The well's voice, gentle and echoing like a distant melody, spoke to her: to receive the aid you seek, you must first give something of your own. Eleanor pondered the well's words and realized that the most precious thing she had was her own kindness. She took out a small, hand-carved wooden figure of a sun that she had kept as a reminder of brighter days. She placed the figure at the edge of the well and spoke from her heart. I offer this small token of my hope and love, hoping that it may help my village. Please, bring the water back to my home. The waters of the well began to swirl and sparkle more brightly. Your generosity and selflessness are truly remarkable, the well's voice said. I will grant your wish, but remember that the true magic lies in the kindness you have shown. Eleanor thanked the well and made her way back to Windmere. As she approached the village, she was astonished to see the river flowing once more. And the fields were beginning to green with new life. The villagers gathered around her, celebrating the return of the water and the revival of their land. Eleanor's selfless act had indeed brought the magic she hoped for, but the village also learned an important lesson about the power of giving and the strength of community. They celebrated their renewed prosperity and honored Eleanor's bravery and kindness. From that day on, the Whispering Well was remembered not just for its magic, but for the reminder it provided, that the greatest magic of all is the love and generosity we share with others. Eleanor continued to live a life filled with joy and purpose, her story becoming a cherished legend in Eldoria. And so, the kingdom thrived under the gentle embrace of the Whispering Well's blessing, with Eleanor's spirit of kindness shining brightly in every heart. Once upon a time, in the enchanting kingdom of Eldoria, there was a forest unlike any other. Known as the Moonlit Grove, it was bathed in perpetual twilight, with silver light filtering through the trees, casting an ethereal glow. The forest was home to all manner of magical creatures and was protected by an ancient enchantment. At the heart of the Moonlit Grove stood a magnificent oak tree, and perched upon its highest branch was a single, radiant silver feather. This feather was said to grant one wish to anyone pure of heart who found it. In a small village on the edge of Eldoria lived a young girl named Arya. Arya was known for her kindness, her bright spirit, and her unwavering love for her ailing grandmother, who had raised her since she was a child. Her grandmother, once a vibrant and joyful woman, had fallen gravely ill, and no healer in the village could find a cure. The villagers spoke of the legendary silver feather and its magical wish, But no one had ever been brave enough to venture deep into the moonlit grove. Determined to save her grandmother, Arya decided to embark on the perilous journey to find the silver feather. With her grandmother's blessing and a heart full of hope, Arya set off early one morning, carrying only a small satchel with provisions and a locket containing a picture of her grandmother. As she entered the moonlit grove, the air grew cooler, and the silver light surrounded her like a gentle embrace. She walked cautiously, aware of the many stories of enchantments and mystical creatures that inhabited the forest. As she made her way deeper into the grove, she encountered a talking fox named Fenwick. "Who dares to wander the moonlit grove?" Fenwick asked, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. "I am Arya," she replied, "and I seek the silver feather to save my grandmother." Fenwick, moved by her determination and pure heart, decided to help her. "The path to the silver feather is fraught with challenges. But I will guide you." Their first trial came when they reached the Glade of Illusions, where the air shimmered with enchantments that created false paths and deceptive visions. Fenwick warned Arya to trust her heart and instincts rather than her eyes. With Fenwick by her side, Arya navigated the glade, ignoring the tempting illusions of easy routes and shortcuts. Next, they arrived at the River of Echoes, a wide, rushing stream with no visible bridge. The river's waters reflected not only the surroundings but also the innermost fears and doubts of those who looked into it. Arya saw visions of her grandmother's suffering, and for a moment, her resolve wavered. But Fenwick reminded her of her strength and the love that drove her. Summoning her courage, Arya found a series of stepping stones hidden just beneath the surface and carefully made her way across the river. Finally, they reached the enchanted meadow, filled with delicate, glowing flowers that sang in the breeze. In the center of the meadow stood the ancient oak tree, its branches reaching high into the sky. At the very top, the silver feather glistened in the moonlight. As Arya approached the tree, a gentle but commanding voice echoed through the meadow. It was the spirit of the oak tree. "Only those with a selfless heart may take the feather," the spirit warned. Arya, with Fenwick watching supportively, began to climb the oak. The climb was difficult, and her hands and feet ached, but her love for her grandmother drove her onward. When she finally reached the top, she grasped the silver feather, feeling its warmth and magic. As she descended, the spirit of the oak tree spoke again. "You have proven your heart's purity and bravery. Make your wish, and it shall be granted." Holding the feather close, Arya closed her eyes and whispered her wish, "I wish for my grandmother to be healthy and happy once more." The feather glowed brightly, and a soft breeze enveloped Arya, carrying her wish to the winds. With Fenwick by her side, Arya made her way back through the moonlit grove, her heart light with hope. When she returned to her village, she found her grandmother standing at the doorway, looking healthier and happier than she had in years. Tears of joy streamed down Arya's face as she embraced her grandmother, knowing that the magic of the silver feather had worked. The story of Arya's bravery and the enchanted silver feather spread throughout Eldoria, inspiring others with the power of love and selflessness. The moonlit grove remained a place of wonder and mystery, its silver light a beacon of hope for all who believed in the magic of the heart. And so, Arya and her grandmother lived happily ever after, their bond stronger than ever, and the kingdom of Eldoria thrived in the light of the moonlit forest. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the moonlight bathed everything in a soft, silver glow, there was a quaint village named Selene. This village was famous for its breathtaking night skies, and its people cherished the gentle beauty of the moon. They believed that the moon was enchanted and that it had the power to grant a single wish to anyone who could play a melody under its light. In this village lived a young girl named Lyra, known for her remarkable talent with the flute. Lyra's music was said to bring peace and joy to anyone who heard it. Her greatest wish was to see her village prosper, for they had faced many hardships recently. Crops had failed, and the once lively river that flowed through Selene had nearly dried up. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting its silvery light over the village, Lyra made up her mind to seek the moon's magic. She took her beloved flute, crafted from the wood of an ancient, enchanted tree, and walked to the top of the hill that overlooked the village. Lyra sat down on a smooth rock and began to play a soft, melodic tune. Her music floated on the cool night air, weaving through the trees and across the quiet streets. As she played, she noticed a shimmering figure emerging from the moonlight. It was a beautiful, ethereal creature with wings like gossamer and eyes that sparkled like stars. The moonlit figure spoke in a voice that was both musical and soothing. "Greetings, Lyra. I am Lunara, the moon spirit. I have heard your melody and felt the purity of your heart. You have one wish to make tonight, but to receive its blessing, you must first complete a quest." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. "What must I do, Lunara?" Lunara's eyes twinkled with gentle wisdom. "In the enchanted forest, there is a hidden grove where the moonflower blooms. This flower holds the essence of the moon's magic. To restore prosperity to your village, you must find the moonflower and bring it back. The path to the grove will reveal itself to you when your heart is true." With newfound determination, Lyra set off towards the enchanted forest. Guided by the moonlight and her inner resolve, she navigated through dense underbrush and ancient trees. The forest seemed alive with whispers of encouragement and the soft rustling of leaves. After a time, Lyra came upon a shimmering stream that wound through the forest. The water sparkled with moonlight, and a delicate bridge of silver mist arched over the stream. As she crossed, the mist seemed to sing along with her melody, guiding her forward. Beyond the stream, Lyra entered a tranquil grove bathed in moonlight. In the center of the grove stood the moonflower, its petals glowing with a soft, ethereal light. Lyra approached the flower with reverence, gently picking it and wrapping it carefully in a silken cloth she had brought with her. As she turned to leave, a gentle breeze swirled around her, carrying the faint sound of her melody back to the village. The breeze seemed to whisper encouragement, and Lyra felt a deep sense of peace. Returning to Selene, Lyra placed the moonflower in the center of the village square. The flower's light began to spread, and the once dried river started to flow again, its waters sparkling and clear. The crops in the fields began to grow lush and green, and the village was filled with a sense of renewed hope and prosperity. The villagers gathered around, marveling at the transformation. They celebrated Lyra's bravery and her beautiful music, which had not only restored their land but had also touched their hearts deeply. Under the moonlit sky, Lyra played her flute one more time, her melody blending with the magic of the moonflower. Lunara appeared once more, her form glowing with a serene light. "You have fulfilled your quest with a pure heart and a selfless spirit. The moon's magic will always shine upon your village, guiding it with prosperity and joy." The village of Selene thrived under the moon's gentle light, and Lyra's music continued to bring joy to everyone who heard it. The story of the moonlit melody became a beloved legend, a reminder of the magic that lies in the purity of one's heart and the power of a wish made under the light of the moon. And so, with the moon watching over them, Lyra and her village lived happily ever after, their hearts forever touched by the magic of the moonlit melody. Once upon a time, in the mystical land of Ilaria, nestled between the snow-capped mountains and the emerald forests, there was a small village called Lumina. The village was known for its serene beauty and the moonlit lake, which shimmered with an otherworldly glow under the light of the full moon. The lake was said to hold ancient magic, and its waters could grant one wish every 100 years. In Lumina lived a young girl named Lyra, who had a heart as bright as the moon and a spirit as free as the wind. Lyra's father was the village blacksmith, and her mother tended to their small garden, growing the most beautiful flowers in the village. Lyra loved to spend her evenings by the moonlit lake, listening to the tales of the old storyteller, Elian, who often spoke of the lake's magic. One evening, as Lyra sat by the lake, Elian told the story of the moonlit lake's guardian, a benevolent spirit who protected the lake's magic and granted wishes to those pure of heart. According to the legend, the guardian only appeared once every 100 years during the festival of the full moon. This year marked the 100th anniversary, and the village was abuzz with excitement and hope. Lyra's heart ached with a secret wish she had held for years. Her mother had fallen ill, and no healer in the village could cure her. She hoped to ask the guardian to heal her mother. Determined to meet the guardian, Lyra decided to visit the lake during the festival. On the night of the festival of the full moon, the villagers gathered around the moonlit lake, celebrating with music, dance, and feasts. As the moon reached its highest point, Lyra slipped away from the crowd and approached the water's edge. She knelt by the lake and whispered her wish to the shimmering waters. "Please, guardian of the moonlit lake, heal my mother and restore her health." The lake's surface began to ripple, and a soft, ethereal light emerged from the depths. Slowly, a figure appeared, a beautiful, radiant woman with flowing silver hair and eyes that sparkled like stars. She was the guardian of the moonlit lake. "Lyra," the guardian spoke in a voice like a gentle breeze, "your heart is pure and your wish selfless. I will grant your request, but first, you must prove your courage and kindness." The guardian's words echoed through the night, and Lyra found herself standing in a lush, enchanted forest. The guardian's voice guided her. "In this forest lies a creature in need of help. Show your kindness by aiding it, and you will move closer to fulfilling your wish." Lyra wandered through the forest until she heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, she discovered a young unicorn, its leg trapped under a fallen tree. With great effort, Lyra managed to lift the tree just enough for the unicorn to free itself. The grateful creature nuzzled her and then transformed into a beam of light, leading her back to the lake. The guardian appeared once more. "You have shown kindness, Lyra. Now, for your second test, the test of courage. Beyond the forest lies a dark cave. Inside, you will find a crystal that holds the essence of the moon. Retrieve it, and you will prove your bravery." Lyra made her way to the cave, its entrance shrouded in shadows. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside, guided by the faint glow of the moonlight. The cave was filled with eerie sounds and dark corners, but Lyra pressed on, her determination unwavering. Deep within the cave, she found the moon crystal, glowing softly. As she reached for it, the cave began to tremble, and rocks started to fall. Lyra grabbed the crystal and ran, narrowly escaping the collapsing cave. She emerged into the night, the moon crystal safe in her hands. The guardian appeared once more, her smile radiant. "You have shown both kindness and courage, Lyra. Your heart is true, and your wish shall be granted." With a wave of her hand, the guardian used the moon crystal's magic to heal Lyra's mother. The light from the crystal enveloped her, and when it faded, Lyra's mother stood healthy and strong, her illness completely gone. Tears of joy filled Lyra's eyes as she embraced her mother. The villagers, witnessing the miracle, rejoiced and celebrated Lyra's bravery and the guardian's benevolence. The guardian spoke one last time, "Lyra, you have restored faith and hope in the hearts of your people. The magic of the moonlit lake will always protect you and your village. Remember, true magic lies in the purity of the heart." With those words, the guardian vanished, and the lake returned to its tranquil state. Lyra and her mother walked back to the village, their hearts filled with gratitude and joy. From that night on, Lumina thrived, its people living in harmony with the magic of the moonlit lake. Lyra grew up to be a wise and kind leader, always reminding her people of the importance of courage and kindness. And so, the tale of Lyra and the moonlit lake was passed down through generations, a timeless story of love, bravery, and the magic that lies within a pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between misty mountains and sparkling rivers, there was a small village called Bramblewood. Bramblewood was known for its lush meadows and friendly people, but its most treasured possession was a legendary artifact, the Golden Compass. This magical compass was said to guide its bearer to their heart's true desire. For years, the Golden Compass had been kept in the village's ancient tower, guarded by a wise old keeper named Master Finn. The compass had always pointed true, guiding many villagers in their quests and adventures. But as time passed, its magic began to fade, and the compass's needle no longer moved with certainty. One day, a young and curious girl named Lyra arrived in Bramblewood. Lyra was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of stories. When she heard about the Golden Compass and its fading magic, she felt a strong urge to help. She believed that the compass's magic was tied to the dreams and wishes of the villagers, and she decided to seek out the source of the problem. Lyra approached Master Finn and asked, "How can I restore the magic of the Golden Compass?" Master Finn looked at her kindly. The compass's power wanes because it has lost its connection to the dreams of those it has guided. To restore it, you must journey to the enchanted lake at the edge of the kingdom. There, you will find the Moonstone, which holds the key to renewing the compass's magic. But be wary, the journey is not without peril. Determined, Lyra set off on her quest. She traveled through dense forests and over rolling hills, guided by the last faint glimmer of the compass. Along her journey, she faced several challenges. First, Lyra encountered a deep chasm with no visible way across. As she pondered her predicament, she noticed a series of stepping stones appearing and disappearing in the chasm. By carefully timing her steps, she managed to cross safely. Next, she reached the Whispering Forest, where the trees seemed to whisper riddles and secrets. To navigate through the forest, Lyra had to solve a riddle posed by the trees. I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I? Lyra thought hard and answered, a pencil. The trees parted, revealing a path to the enchanted lake. As she arrived, she saw the Moonstone resting on a pedestal in the center of the lake. To reach it, she had to cross a series of floating lily pads. Each pad glowed softly, but some were unstable and would sink if she stepped on them. With careful balance and a steady heart, Lyra crossed the lily pads and reached the Moonstone. As she touched it, the stone began to glow brightly, and a shimmering bridge of light appeared, leading her back to the shore. Lyra returned to Bramblewood with the Moonstone, which she placed alongside the golden compass. As the Moonstone's light touched the compass, the needle began to spin with renewed energy, glowing with a warm, golden light. The compass's magic was restored, and it now pointed true with unwavering certainty. The villagers rejoiced, grateful to Lyra for her bravery and determination. They celebrated with a grand feast and honored Lyra with a special ceremony. Master Finn approached Lyra and said, "You have not only restored the compass's magic but also reminded us of the importance of dreams and hope. The golden compass will now guide future generations with its renewed power." As the festivities continued, Lyra felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had not only achieved her goal but had also learned the value of perseverance and the power of following one's heart. With a heart full of joy, Lyra bid farewell to the villagers and continued her adventures, carrying with her the lessons she had learned and the memories of her quest. The golden compass remained a cherished symbol of hope and guidance in Bramblewood, its magic forever intertwined with the dreams and aspirations of those who sought its wisdom. And so, Bramblewood flourished, guided by the golden compass and the spirit of adventure that Lyra had rekindled. The village thrived under the watchful glow of the compass, its light a beacon of hope for all who ventured forth. Once upon a time, in the mystical kingdom of Evernight, the land was always shrouded in twilight. The sky was a canvas of stars, and the moon shone perpetually, casting a silvery glow on everything. The people of Evernight lived in harmony, their lives illuminated by the gentle light of the moon and stars. However, there was one problem: the kingdom had never seen the sun. It was said that long ago, a powerful sorceress had cursed the land, and the sun had vanished. In the royal palace of Evernight, King Alaric and Queen Alara ruled wisely and kindly. They had a son named Prince Orion, a brave and curious young man. Despite the beauty of their perpetual night, Orion longed to see the sun. He had heard tales of its warmth and brilliance from ancient books and travelers from distant lands. One day, as Orion wandered the palace gardens, he came across an old, hidden chamber. Inside, he found a dusty, ancient scroll. As he unfurled it, he discovered it was a map leading to the Valley of Dawn, where it was said the sun could be found and brought back to Evernight. Determined to lift the curse and bring sunlight to his kingdom, Prince Orion decided to embark on this perilous journey. Before he left, his parents gave him a magical amulet that had been passed down through generations. It was said to protect the wearer from dark magic. With the amulet around his neck and the scroll in his hand, Orion set off on his quest. The journey was fraught with danger and challenges. As Orion ventured beyond the borders of Evernight, he entered the Shadowlands, a desolate and dark realm ruled by the sorceress who had cursed Evernight. The trees here were twisted and gnarled, and eerie whispers filled the air. Orion's courage was tested when he encountered shadowy creatures that tried to lead him astray, but the magical amulet glowed brightly, repelling them. In the heart of the Shadowlands, Orion came across a mysterious figure, a young woman named Luna. She had been trapped in the Shadowlands for years, cursed by the sorceress. Luna revealed that she was once a guardian of the sun and that the sorceress had stolen her powers to keep the sun hidden. Moved by Orion's determination, Luna decided to join him, hoping to reclaim her powers and restore balance. Together, they continued their journey, facing trials that tested their strength and resolve. They crossed the Bridge of Echoes, where the sorceress's illusions tried to break their spirit, and navigated the Maze of Whispers, where every wrong turn echoed with doubts and fears. Each time, their friendship and the amulet's magic guided them through. Finally, they reached the Valley of Dawn. The valley was bathed in a faint, golden glow, the last remnants of the sun's light. In the center stood a towering crystal obelisk, where the sun's essence was trapped. Guarding the obelisk was the sorceress herself, her eyes gleaming with malice. "Foolish prince," the sorceress sneered. "You think you can break my curse?" Orion stepped forward, his voice unwavering. "I am here to restore the sun to Evernight and end your darkness." The sorceress laughed, summoning dark magic to attack them. But Luna, drawing strength from her memories of the sun, unleashed her own light magic. The battle was fierce, but Orion and Luna's combined courage and power began to weaken the sorceress. In a final, desperate move, the sorceress cast a powerful spell aimed at Orion. But Luna, with a burst of radiant light, intercepted the spell, shattering the sorceress's dark magic. The amulet around Orion's neck glowed intensely, and with its power, he struck the obelisk, releasing the sun's essence. A brilliant light filled the valley as the sun emerged, banishing the shadows and the sorceress along with them. The curse was broken, and the Valley of Dawn began to flourish with life and color. Luna's powers were fully restored, and she transformed into a radiant guardian once more. With the sun's essence in hand, Orion and Luna returned to Evernight. As they approached the kingdom, the first rays of sunlight began to pierce the perpetual twilight. The people of Evernight gathered in awe, witnessing the dawn for the first time. Prince Orion placed the sun's essence in the heart of Evernight, and the kingdom was bathed in warm, golden light. The land, once shrouded in eternal night, now flourished with vibrant colors and life. The people rejoiced, and Evernight was renamed Dawnlight in honor of the newfound sunlight. King Alaric and Queen Alara embraced their son, proud of his bravery and determination. Luna, now a guardian of both night and day, chose to stay and protect the balance of light in the kingdom. Under the warm sun, Dawnlight prospered, and the story of Prince Orion's quest became a cherished legend. And so, the kingdom of Dawnlight lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the brave prince who brought the sun back to their lives. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the skies were always bright and the trees always green, there was a hidden forest known as the Forest of the Forgotten. This magical forest was filled with trees that held the memories of those who had wandered through its woods long ago. The forest was said to be enchanted, and its magic was both wondrous and mysterious. In a cozy cottage at the edge of the village of Larkspur, lived a young girl named Alara. Alara was known throughout the village for her curiosity and kindness. Her parents had passed away when she was very young, and she lived with her wise grandmother, who often told her stories about the magical Forest of the Forgotten. One evening, Alara's grandmother told her about a special tree in the forest, the Tree of Wishes. This ancient tree was said to grant one true wish to someone who had a pure heart and selfless intentions. The tree's magic could only be unlocked by someone who truly needed help, and Alara decided she wanted to find it. Early one morning, with a basket of supplies and a heart full of hope, Alara set off on her adventure into the Forest of the Forgotten. The forest was filled with a symphony of sounds, birds chirping, leaves rustling, and the gentle murmur of a hidden brook. The deeper Alara ventured, the more the forest seemed alive with secrets. As Alara walked, she noticed the trees seemed to watch her with their wise, old eyes. She felt a bit nervous but pressed on, remembering her grandmother's stories. After a few hours of wandering, Alara came upon a small clearing with a shimmering stream flowing through it. At the center of the clearing was a beautiful, golden tree with leaves that glowed softly. Elara approached the tree with awe and gently touched its bark. "I've come seeking the Tree of Wishes," she said softly. "I need help for my village, which has been suffering from a terrible drought. If you can help us, we'd be forever grateful." The Tree of Wishes responded with a warm, golden light. Its leaves rustled as if whispering secrets, and a gentle breeze carried the sound of a soothing voice. "Your heart is pure, Elara," the tree spoke. "The village has suffered, and your kindness and courage have brought you here. I will grant your wish, but first, you must complete a task." Elara listened intently as the Tree of Wishes explained the task. She had to retrieve a magical crystal hidden deep within the forest, guarded by a fierce dragon. This crystal had the power to summon rain and end the drought. Though frightened, Elara was determined to help her village. With the tree's guidance, Elara ventured further into the forest, following a path marked by glowing mushrooms. She reached a dark cave where the dragon was said to live. Gathering her courage, she entered the cave and found the dragon, an enormous, shimmering creature with scales like jewels. The dragon looked at Elara with curious eyes. "Why have you come here, little one?" it rumbled. "I need the crystal to help my village," Elara said bravely. "We're suffering from a drought, and I must bring it back to save them." The dragon studied her carefully and then nodded. "Many have come seeking the crystal, but you are the first to show such bravery and kindness. The crystal is yours, but remember, it is a powerful gift. Use it wisely." With a respectful bow, Elara took the crystal and thanked the dragon. She made her way back to the Tree of Wishes, where the tree used its magic to combine the crystal's power with its own. A gentle rain began to fall, soaking the thirsty ground and bringing relief to the land. Elara returned to her village, where everyone rejoiced at the sight of the rain. The crops began to grow, and the village flourished once more. Elara was celebrated as a hero, but she humbly shared that the true magic had come from the heart of the forest and the kindness she had shown. The villagers, inspired by Elara's bravery and the magic of the forest, learned to care for one another and cherish the gifts of the land. The Forest of the Forgotten remained a place of wonder, where the memories of those who showed kindness lived on forever. And so, Elara's tale was passed down through generations, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a pure heart and a selfless wish can bring about the most magical changes. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the moon bathed everything in silver light, there was a quaint village named Lunalore. The village was nestled in a valley surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests. It was known for its beautiful moonlit nights, when the moon seemed to touch the earth with its soft glow. In Lunalore lived a young girl named Mira. Mira had a special gift: she could talk to plants. From the tiniest flower to the tallest tree, Mira understood their whispers and songs. Every evening, she would wander the woods, tending to the plants and listening to their stories. One clear night, as Mira walked through the forest, she came across a hidden path she had never seen before. Curiosity piqued, she followed it until she reached a gate made of intertwined silver vines. The gate was adorned with glowing moonstones that shimmered in the moonlight. Mira gently pushed the gate open and stepped inside. Beyond the gate lay a breathtaking garden unlike anything Mira had ever seen. The garden was filled with luminescent flowers, their petals glowing softly in various shades of blue, pink, and violet. The air was filled with a sweet, enchanting fragrance, and the sound of delicate music seemed to emanate from the flowers themselves. In the center of the garden stood a grand, ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk. Mira approached the tree and noticed a small, intricately carved box nestled inside the hollow. The box was covered in strange, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the moonlight. As Mira reached for the box, a gentle voice spoke from behind her. "Welcome, kind soul," said a graceful fairy who appeared from among the flowers. Her wings sparkled like stardust, and her eyes twinkled with kindness. "I am Luna, the guardian of the moonlit garden." Mira, amazed and excited, responded, "Hello, Luna. This garden is magical. What is this box?" Luna smiled. This box holds the secret of the moonlit garden. It contains a powerful magic that has been hidden away for centuries. To unlock its power, one must prove their heart is pure and their intentions noble. Mira felt a sense of purpose and asked, "How can I prove that?" Luna floated closer and explained, "The box can only be opened by answering 3 riddles. Each riddle is a test of wisdom, compassion, and bravery. If you succeed, the secret within will be revealed." With determination in her eyes, Mira nodded. Luna began with the first riddle. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have nobody, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and then said, "An echo." The symbols on the box glowed warmly, and Luna nodded approvingly. "You have answered correctly. Now, for the second riddle, I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Mira pondered the riddle and then answered, "A joke." The box's glow intensified, and Luna's smile widened. "Well done. Now, the final riddle, I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Mira considered the riddle carefully. She thought of the things she had seen and experienced in her life. Finally, she said, "A fire." With that answer, the box's glow became blindingly bright.
That is not medicine.
The lid of the box slowly opened, revealing a shimmering orb of moonlight. The orb floated gently out of the box and hovered in front of Mira and Luna.
That was not medicine.
Luna spoke with reverence, "This is the heart of the garden. It holds the magic that keeps this garden alive and thriving. With its power, you can bring prosperity and harmony to your village." Mira was awestruck and asked, "How can I use this magic?" Luna's eyes shone with a gentle light. "The magic of the heart is meant to be shared. Use it with kindness and wisdom to help those in need. It will guide you in your journey." Mira took the heart of the garden with great care. As she left the magical garden and returned to her village, she carried with her a newfound sense of purpose. She used the garden's magic to help the villagers, heal the land, and bring joy and prosperity to Lunalore. The village flourished under Mira's care, and the garden remained a secret place of wonder, known only to those with a pure heart and noble intentions. And so, Mira's legend grew, and her name was remembered in stories and songs as the girl who discovered the secret of the moonlit garden and used its magic to bring light and love to her world. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where lush meadows met towering mountains, there was a village called Eldoria. This village was renowned for its beauty and the harmonious melodies that filled the air each day. The source of these melodies was a grand, old tree in the village square known as the Melody Tree. It was said that the tree sang a magical tune that kept the village prosperous and joyful. For as long as anyone could remember, the Melody Tree had been cared for by a kind-hearted woman named Serafina. She was known as the keeper of the tree and was believed to have a special connection to the tree's magic. However, one fateful winter, the tree's song began to fade, and the village fell into silence and sorrow. The once lively streets of Eldoria became quiet, and the villagers worried that the tree's magic was disappearing. Among the villagers was a curious and courageous young girl named Alina. She loved the Melody Tree and felt a deep sadness seeing it lose its magic. Determined to restore the tree's song and bring joy back to her village, Alina decided to set out on a quest to uncover the mystery behind the fading melody. Alina visited Serafina, who was tending to the now silent tree. "Serafina," Alina said, "I want to help restore the Melody Tree's song. Can you tell me what might be causing the silence?" Serafina looked at Alina with a mixture of hope and sadness. "The melody is fading because the heart of the tree has been stolen. To restore it, you must find the heart and return it to the tree. The heart is hidden in a distant land, guarded by 3 magical creatures. You must prove your worth by completing 3 tasks." Alina, resolute and ready, set out on her quest. Her journey took her through dense forests, over misty mountains, and across shimmering rivers. The first magical creature she encountered was a wise old fox named Finn, who guarded the entrance to an ancient grove. To gain access to the grove, Finn said, "You must solve a riddle. Here it is, I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Alina thought deeply and then answered, an echo. Finn nodded and allowed her to pass. Within the grove, Alina found a golden feather that was the first key to her journey. The next task led Alina to a crystal-clear lake where a graceful swan named Selene lived. Selene's task was to test Alina's kindness and bravery. In the center of the lake, Selene said, is a pearl that has been lost for ages. Retrieve it and return it to me, and you shall earn the second key. Alina swam through the cool waters and found the pearl resting on a bed of soft reeds. She returned the pearl to Selene, who rewarded her with a shimmering blue gem. For the final task, Alina had to climb the tallest mountain to find a wise dragon named Thorn. Thorn guarded the last key, a radiant emerald. To prove your worth, Thorn rumbled, you must tell me what you believe is the true source of magic. Alina looked up at Thorn and replied, the true source of magic is love and kindness. It is the heart's ability to care for others and to bring joy to the world. Thorn's eyes softened, and he handed her the radiant emerald. You have answered wisely. Take this key, and may it aid you in your quest. With all three keys in hand, a golden feather, a shimmering blue gem, and a radiant emerald, Alina made her way back to Eldoria. She arrived at the Melody Tree and placed the keys in a hidden compartment beneath the tree's bark. The moment she did, the heart of the tree, a brilliant crystal, began to glow with a warm, golden light. The Melody Tree's song returned, more beautiful and enchanting than ever before. The villagers rejoiced as the tree's magical melody filled the air, bringing joy and life back to Eldoria. The once silent streets were alive with laughter and music once more. Serafina thanked Alina for her bravery and kindness, and the villagers celebrated her as a hero. Alina's quest to restore the Melody Tree's song became a cherished tale in Eldoria, a reminder of the power of courage, love, and the magic that lies in a pure heart. And so, the village of Eldoria continued to thrive under the melody of the grand old tree, and Alina's story was passed down through generations, inspiring others to embrace their own quests with a heart full of hope and kindness. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between the Azure Sea and Emerald Forests, there lived a young girl named Evelina. Evelina was known for her golden hair, bright green eyes, and a heart full of dreams. She lived in the quaint village of Eldoria, where every corner was filled with laughter and every path led to an adventure. Evelina's best friend was a curious squirrel named Nutmeg, who often accompanied her on her daily explorations. One sunny morning, as they wandered through the forest, they stumbled upon a hidden, overgrown path that neither had ever seen before. Evelina, her curiosity piqued, decided to follow the path, with Nutmeg chattering excitedly on her shoulder. The path led them to a magnificent, sparkling waterfall that cascaded into a crystal-clear pool. At the edge of the pool was a large, ancient stone with mysterious runes carved into it. As Evelina traced her fingers over the runes, they began to glow, and a soft, melodious voice filled the air. Brave traveler, you have found the Whispering Falls, the gateway to the Enchanted Grove. Within this grove lies the Amulet of Serafina, a powerful artifact that can bring peace and prosperity to the land. But be warned, the path to the amulet is fraught with challenges that will test your heart, mind, and spirit. Evelina's eyes sparkled with determination. She had always dreamed of embarking on a great adventure and helping her village. With Nutmeg by her side, she stepped through the waterfall and into the Enchanted Grove. The grove was a place of wonder, filled with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky and flowers that glowed with an inner light. As Evelina and Nutmeg ventured deeper, they encountered their first challenge, a labyrinth of thorny vines. The vines twisted and turned, creating a maze that seemed impossible to navigate. Suddenly, a graceful deer appeared, its eyes wise and gentle. To pass through the labyrinth, you must solve this riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, and I can drown. What am I? Evelina thought for a moment, then smiled. You are fire. The deer nodded and the thorny vines parted, revealing a clear path. Evelina and Nutmeg continued their journey, soon arriving at a shimmering pond guarded by a beautiful swan. The swan spoke in a voice like tinkling bells. "To cross this pond, you must show kindness. Bring life to this wilted flower," she said, pointing to a withered bloom at the pond's edge. Evelina knelt by the flower and gently cupped it in her hands. Remembering the stories her grandmother used to tell about the healing power of song, she began to sing a soft, sweet melody. As she sang, the flower began to revive, its petals unfurling and its color returning. The swan smiled and a bridge of water lilies formed across the pond, allowing Evelina and Nutmeg to cross safely. Their final challenge awaited them in a sunlit glade, where an old, twisted tree stood. In the tree's hollow was a shimmering light, the amulet of Seraphina. However, as they approached, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. It was the sorcerer Valtor, who had been seeking the amulet to use its power for his own dark purposes. "You cannot take the amulet," Valtor hissed. "It belongs to me." Evelina stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. "The amulet belongs to those who seek to bring peace and goodness. You have no right to it." Valtor sneered and raised his staff, casting a dark spell toward Evelina. But before the spell could reach her, Nutmeg leapt from her shoulder and knocked the staff from Valtor's hand. In the ensuing struggle, Evelina seized the amulet and held it high. A brilliant light burst forth, banishing the shadows and rendering Valtor powerless. With the amulet in her grasp, Evelina felt its warmth and power. She made a wish for peace and prosperity for her village and all the lands beyond. The amulet's light enveloped the grove, and a wave of magic spread throughout the kingdom, healing the land and bringing joy to its people. Evelina and Nutmeg returned to Eldoria as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery and selflessness, and the amulet of Seraphina was placed in a special shrine where its magic could continue to bless the kingdom. From that day on, Evelina's name was spoken with reverence and admiration. She continued to explore and protect her beloved land, her heart full of the courage and kindness that had guided her on her extraordinary journey. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria thrived under the watchful eyes of its brave young hero, living happily ever after. The tale of the silver moon. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky kissed the earth, there was a small kingdom known as Luminera. Luminera was a place of beauty and peace, surrounded by vast forests, shimmering lakes, and fields of golden grain. But what made Luminera truly special was its night sky. Every night, a magnificent silver moon would rise, casting its soft, luminous light over the kingdom. The people of Luminera believed that the moon was a blessing from the gods, a symbol of protection and prosperity. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and kind king named Eric. He was loved by his people, not only for his fairness but also for his deep connection to the moon. It was said that King Eric was born on the night of the brightest silver moon, and that he had a special bond with it. Every full moon, he would climb to the top of the tallest tower in his castle and offer a prayer of gratitude. One day, as the kingdom prepared for the upcoming full moon festival, something strange happened. The moon began to wane, its light growing dimmer with each passing night. The people of Luminera grew worried. They had never seen the moon lose its brilliance before, and they feared that the gods were angry with them. King Eric, too, was troubled. He consulted with his advisors and the kingdom's wisest sages, but no one could explain the moon's fading light. Determined to save his kingdom, the king decided to seek out the answer himself. He packed a small bag with provisions, took his sword, and set out on a journey to find the source of the moon's dimming. King Eric traveled far and wide, through dense forests and across raging rivers, until he came to the foot of a great mountain. It was the tallest mountain in the land, and it was said that at its peak lived an ancient and powerful sorceress named Seraphina, who possessed the knowledge of the stars and the heavens. The king climbed the mountain, enduring harsh winds and treacherous paths. After days of climbing, he finally reached the summit, where he found Seraphina's dwelling, a small, stone cottage surrounded by a garden of glowing flowers. Seraphina was expecting him. She was a graceful woman with silver hair that flowed like moonlight and eyes that sparkled like stars. "Welcome, King Eric," she said in a voice that was both soft and powerful. I know why you have come. Please, wise Seraphina, King Eric pleaded. Tell me why the moon is losing its light. My people are afraid, and I fear that our kingdom will suffer if the moon's light fades completely. Seraphina looked up at the sky, her expression solemn. The moon is not just a celestial body, King Eric. It is a living entity, and like all living things, it has a heart. The heart of the moon is a crystal, hidden deep within its core, and it is this crystal that gives the moon its light. But something has disturbed the crystal, causing it to lose its power. What has disturbed it? The king asked. Seraphina sighed. The heart of the moon is connected to the hearts of the people of Luminara. Their love, their kindness, their gratitude, these are what fuel the moon's light. But lately, the people have grown complacent. They have taken the moon's light for granted, forgetting to cherish it, forgetting to give thanks. This neglect has weakened the crystal. King Eric was filled with sorrow. What can I do to restore the moon's light? Seraphina placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. You must journey to the moon itself and heal the crystal. But the path is not easy. You will need the silver key, an ancient artifact hidden in the heart of the enchanted forest. The key will open the gateway to the moon, but only someone with a pure heart can wield it. The king thanked Seraphina and immediately set out for the enchanted forest. The forest was a mystical place, filled with magical creatures and hidden dangers. But King Eric was brave and determined. He journeyed through the forest, facing many trials that tested his courage, wisdom, and kindness. At last, he reached the center of the forest, where a giant oak tree stood. The silver key was said to be hidden within the tree. As he approached, the tree spoke in a deep, ancient voice, only one with a pure heart may take the key. If your heart is true, you may reach inside. King Eric, with a heart full of love for his people and determination to save the moon, reached into the tree. His hand closed around a cool, metallic object, and when he withdrew it, he held the silver key, an ornate key that shimmered with a light as bright as the moon. With the key in hand, King Eric traveled to the highest peak in the land, where the gateway to the moon was said to be. He inserted the key into a hidden lock in the mountain's rock, and a portal of light appeared before him. The king stepped through the portal and found himself on the moon. It was a barren, cold place, but in the distance, he saw a dim light flickering. He followed the light until he reached a cave, and inside the cave, he found the heart of the moon, a large crystal, once bright and vibrant, now dull and cracked. King Eric approached the crystal and placed his hands upon it. He closed his eyes and thought of his kingdom, of the people he loved, and of the light that had always guided them. He poured all his love and gratitude into the crystal, and slowly, it began to heal. The crack sealed, and the light grew stronger and stronger until the entire moon was bathed in its radiant glow. The king opened his eyes and smiled, knowing that the moon's light had been restored. The portal reappeared, and he returned to Luminara. When he arrived, the full moon was rising, brighter and more beautiful than ever before. The people of Luminara rejoiced, and from that day on, they never forgot to give thanks for the moon's light. King Eric continued to rule with wisdom and kindness, and the kingdom prospered for many generations. And so, the silver moon continued to shine brightly over Luminara, a symbol of the enduring bond between the heavens and the earth, and a reminder that even in the darkest times, the light of love and gratitude can guide the way. Once upon a time, in the heart of a quaint village named Willowbrook, there stood a mysterious orchard. The orchard was unlike any other. It was known for its enchanted trees that bore fruit only under the light of the full moon. The fruit was said to be magical, capable of granting a single wish to anyone who ate it. In this village lived a kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was an orphan, raised by his loving grandmother, and he spent his days helping her with her little shop and exploring the village's surroundings. He had always heard stories about the moonlit orchard from his grandmother, who spoke of it with both wonder and reverence. She had told him that the orchard was guarded by an ancient spirit, known only as the Moon Keeper, who ensured that the magic of the orchard was not misused. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Finn's grandmother fell ill. She had been feeling weak for some time, but now her condition had worsened. The village healer had done all they could, but nothing seemed to help. Desperate to save his grandmother, Finn remembered the tales of the moonlit orchard and decided to seek out its magical fruit. As the moonlight bathed the village in a silvery glow, Finn set out towards the orchard. He followed a narrow, winding path through the forest, guided by the light of the moon and the stories he had heard. The journey was long and filled with shadows, but Finn's determination kept him going. When he finally arrived at the edge of the moonlit orchard, he was awestruck. The orchard was bathed in a soft, ethereal light. Trees with silver leaves shimmered in the moonlight, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of the magical fruit that hung from the branches. The sight was breathtaking, and Finn felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He took a deep breath and stepped into the orchard, his footsteps light on the soft, moss-covered ground. As he walked deeper into the orchard, he noticed a figure standing among the trees. It was the Moon Keeper, a graceful being with a flowing robe that seemed to be made of moonlight itself. Her eyes were as deep and dark as the night sky, and she regarded Finn with a mixture of curiosity and wisdom. "Welcome, young one," the Moon Keeper said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "What brings you to the moonlit orchard?" Finn, though a bit nervous, spoke earnestly. "My grandmother is very ill. I've come to find the magical fruit and make a wish to save her." The Moon Keeper studied him for a moment. "The fruit of the moonlit orchard is indeed powerful, but it is not given lightly. To earn it, you must prove your heart's true intention." Finn nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help her." The Moon Keeper smiled, a glimmer of approval in her eyes. "Very well. There is a task you must complete before you may take the fruit. You must find the heart of the orchard, a hidden gem that represents the essence of this place. Only then can you make your wish." With that, the Moon Keeper vanished into the misty moonlight, leaving Finn to embark on his quest. Finn began his search, following clues that were whispered by the wind and illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. He ventured through the orchard, encountering various challenges along the way. He faced a maze of trees that seemed to shift and change, but he navigated it with patience and careful observation. He crossed a babbling brook that sparkled like liquid silver, and when he encountered a field of glowing mushrooms, he remembered the stories of their magical properties and used their light to guide his way. After hours of searching, Finn came upon a hidden grove, its entrance concealed by a curtain of ivy. Inside, he found a small, ancient tree with golden branches that bore a single, radiant gem nestled among its roots. It was the heart of the orchard, glowing with a gentle, warm light. As Finn approached the gem, he was filled with a sense of calm and wonder. He carefully picked up the heart of the orchard, feeling its warmth spread through his fingers. The gem seemed to pulse with a soothing energy, and Finn knew he had found what he was looking for. He made his way back to the Moon Keeper, who appeared once again as he approached the edge of the orchard. With a bow, Finn presented the heart of the orchard to her. "You have proven your worth and your pure heart," the Moon Keeper said, taking the gem with a graceful nod. "Now, you may make your wish." Finn closed his eyes and made his wish with all his heart. He wished for his grandmother's health and happiness. The Moon Keeper nodded, and with a wave of her hand, she sent a shower of stardust cascading into the night sky. Finn returned to Willowbrook, his heart filled with hope. As he reached his grandmother's home, he saw a miraculous sight. She was sitting up in bed, looking healthier and more vibrant than she had in months. She smiled at Finn with tears of joy in her eyes. "You did it, Finn," she said softly. "You saved me." The village celebrated Finn's bravery and the miraculous recovery of his grandmother. The moonlit orchard remained a place of wonder and magic, its fruits never taken for granted. Finn had learned the true value of selfless love and the power of determination. And so, the village of Willowbrook thrived under the glow of the full moon, with Finn's story becoming a cherished legend, a tale of courage, kindness, and the magic that lies in the heart of a pure soul. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between majestic mountains and lush valleys, there was an enchanted lake called Luminara. This lake was unlike any other, for it glowed with a radiant light that changed colors with the passing of each hour. The people of Eldoria believed that the lake's magic came from a mystical crystal hidden deep beneath its shimmering waters. The kingdom thrived under the blessing of the lake, enjoying bountiful harvests and harmonious weather. However, one fateful day, the lake's light began to fade. The crops withered, the rivers ran dry, and the skies turned gray. The people of Eldoria were filled with despair, fearing that their beloved lake was losing its magic. King Cedric, a wise and compassionate ruler, knew that something had to be done. He called upon the bravest and most noble individuals in the kingdom, promising great rewards to anyone who could restore the lake's magic. Among those who answered the call was a young girl named Elara. She was not of noble birth, but her heart was pure, and her spirit was unyielding. Elara had grown up listening to stories about the enchanted lake and had always dreamed of exploring its depths. "Your Majesty," Elara said, kneeling before King Cedric, "I will find the source of the lake's magic and restore it to its former glory." The king, seeing the determination in her eyes, nodded. "Elara, your bravery and kindness are what this kingdom needs. Take this amulet, it will protect you on your journey. May the spirits of Eldoria guide you." With the amulet around her neck, Elara set off on her quest. She traveled through dense forests, crossed wide rivers, and climbed steep hills. Along the way, she encountered a friendly fox named Lyric, who offered to accompany her. "Hello, Elara," Lyric said with a playful grin. "I know the lands well and can help you navigate the treacherous paths to Luminera." Grateful for the companionship, Elara and Lyric continued their journey together. They soon arrived at the edge of the Whispering Woods, a place filled with ancient trees and magical creatures. There, they met a wise old owl named Orion, who perched high in the branches. "Greetings, travelers," Orion hooted softly. "I see you seek to restore the magic of Luminera. To proceed, you must solve my riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment before answering, "An echo." Orion nodded approvingly and revealed a hidden path through the forest. "Follow this path to the Cavern of Echoes, where you will find the guardian of the crystal." Elara and Lyric followed the path, arriving at the entrance of a cavern that glimmered with crystals. Inside, they encountered a majestic stag named Loomis, the guardian of the crystal. "Brave Elara," Loomis said in a deep, resonant voice, "to restore the magic of Luminera, you must prove your courage and purity of heart. The crystal lies within the depths of this cavern, but it is guarded by shadows of doubt and fear. Only the pure of heart can retrieve it." With unwavering determination, Elara and Lyric ventured into the heart of the cavern. The shadows seemed to come alive, whispering doubts and fears into Elara's mind. But she remembered King Cedric's words and the hope of her people, and she pressed on, her heart filled with courage. Finally, they reached the chamber where the crystal lay, glowing faintly. Elara approached it and placed her hand on its surface. The crystal began to pulse with light, growing brighter with each beat of her heart. The shadows receded, and the cavern was filled with a radiant light. With the crystal in hand, Elara and Lyric made their way back to Luminera. As they approached the lake, the crystal's light grew even brighter, illuminating the water with a kaleidoscope of colors. Elara placed the crystal in the heart of the lake, and its magic was instantly restored. The lake's radiant light returned, and the kingdom of Eldoria flourished once more. King Cedric and the people of Eldoria rejoiced at the return of their beloved lake's magic. Elara was celebrated as a hero, and the tale of her bravery spread throughout the land. The enchanted lake continued to glow, a symbol of hope and the enduring power of a pure heart. From that day forward, Eldoria thrived under the blessing of Luminera, and Elara's story was passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria lived in peace and prosperity, forever grateful to the brave girl who restored the magic of the enchanted lake. The end. Once upon a time, in a secluded valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a magical garden known as the Moonflower Garden. This garden was renowned for its stunning, luminescent flowers that bloomed only under the light of the full moon. The flowers were said to possess extraordinary powers, bringing good fortune and healing to those who found them. In the nearby village of Larkspur, a young girl named Isla lived with her grandmother. Isla was known for her kindness and curiosity. Her grandmother often told her stories about the Moonflower Garden, and Isla had always dreamed of seeing its beauty for herself. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Isla decided to venture into the forest to find the legendary garden. Armed with a lantern, a map her grandmother had drawn, and a heart full of hope, she set out under the shimmering moonlight. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, and the path was illuminated by the soft glow of fireflies. Isla followed the map, which led her deeper into the woods and toward a hidden glade. As she approached the clearing, she saw a tall, silver gate entwined with ivy and adorned with delicate moonflowers. The gate was slightly ajar, and beyond it lay the Moonflower Garden. Isla stepped through the gate and gasped in wonder. The garden was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Moonflowers of every color imaginable, silver, blue, violet, glowed softly in the moonlight, casting an ethereal light across the garden. Each flower seemed to pulse with a gentle energy, creating a symphony of shimmering light and color. As Isla wandered through the garden, she noticed a small, wooden bench under a grand, ancient oak tree in the center of the garden. Sitting on the bench was a small, magical creature, a moon sprite with delicate wings that sparkled like stardust. The moon sprite looked up and smiled warmly. "Welcome to the Moonflower Garden, Isla. I am Leora, the guardian of this place. We've been expecting you." Isla was surprised but pleased. "You were expecting me? How?" Leora's wings fluttered gently. "The garden senses the hearts of those who seek it. You have come with pure intentions and a kind heart. To honor the garden and its magic, you must complete 3 tasks. The first task was to gather the moonflower dew, a magical nectar that only collected in the heart of the garden. Isla searched for the dewdrops, finding them hidden within the petals of the moonflowers. With great care, she collected the dew in a small vial. The second task required Isla to sing a song of gratitude to the garden. Leora guided her to a serene, crystal-clear pond. Isla sang a gentle, heartfelt melody, her voice echoing across the water and mingling with the sounds of the night. As she sang, the moonflowers glowed even brighter, and the pond's surface shimmered with a silvery light. The final task was to solve a riddle posed by Leora. The sprite spoke softly, "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Isla thought for a moment and then answered confidently, "A map." Leora's eyes sparkled with approval. "You have completed all the tasks with grace and wisdom. The Moonflower Garden's magic is yours to share." Leora handed Isla a small, glowing seed. "This is the seed of moonlight. Plant it in your village, and its magic will bring prosperity and healing to those who need it." With the seed safely tucked away, Isla bid farewell to Leora and the Moonflower Garden. She returned to Larkspur with a heart full of joy and hope. When she planted the seed of moonlight in her village's garden, a wondrous transformation began. The garden flourished with beautiful, luminescent flowers that bloomed under the moonlight, much like those in the Moonflower Garden. The village thrived, and the flowers brought health and happiness to everyone who touched them. Isla became known as the guardian of the Moonflower Garden, and the story of her adventure was passed down through generations. The Moonflower Garden continued to bloom in the hearts of the villagers, a symbol of the magic that exists when one follows their dreams with kindness and courage. And so, the village of Larkspur lived happily ever after, forever touched by the magic of the Moonflower Garden and the brave heart of a young girl named Isla. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Whispering Woods, there was an enchanted glade that glowed with a soft, silver light. The glade was said to be home to a magical creature known as the Moonlight Fox, whose fur shimmered with all the colors of the night sky. This fox had the power to grant a single wish to anyone who found the glade under the light of a full moon. In a nearby village, a young girl named Alara lived with her grandmother, who told her stories of the Moonlight Fox and the glade. Ilara, with her heart full of dreams and kindness, wished to find the glade and help her ailing grandmother. She dreamed of a magical cure that would restore her grandmother's health and bring joy back into their lives. One evening, as the full moon rose high and bathed the world in its silvery glow, Ilara decided to seek out the glade. With a lantern in hand and a heart full of hope, she ventured into the whispering woods. The forest was alive with the sounds of crickets and the gentle rustle of leaves. But Ilara felt a comforting warmth guiding her way. As she walked deeper into the woods, she stumbled upon a trail of glowing flowers that seemed to lead her in the right direction. She followed the trail, her excitement growing with each step. The flowers' glow grew brighter until they revealed a clearing bathed in the ethereal light of the full moon. In the center of the glade stood the moonlight fox, its fur a dazzling tapestry of stars and moonbeams. Ilara approached the moonlight fox with a mixture of awe and reverence. The fox's eyes, like two shimmering orbs, met hers with a gentle, knowing gaze. The moonlight fox spoke in a voice as soft as a breeze, "Brave child, you have found the enchanted glade. What is your heart's wish?" With a trembling voice, Ilara said, "I wish for my grandmother's health to be restored. She has brought so much love and joy into my life, and I want her to be well again." The moonlight fox regarded Ilara with a thoughtful look, then nodded. "A wish made with such pure intent is a rare and beautiful thing. I shall grant your wish, but remember, true magic comes from the love and care you show each day." With a wave of its shimmering tail, the moonlight fox conjured a soft, golden light that enveloped Ilara. The light seemed to whisper promises of healing and hope. Ilara felt a profound sense of peace and gratitude. As the light faded, the moonlight fox vanished into the night, leaving only the lingering glow of the flowers. Ilara returned to the village with a heart full of hope. The next morning, her grandmother, who had been frail and tired, awoke feeling stronger and more vibrant than she had in years. The village marveled at her miraculous recovery, and Ilara's wish was fulfilled beyond her wildest dreams. Grateful for the magic she had witnessed, Ilara continued to care for her grandmother with even more love and dedication. She never spoke of her encounter with the moonlight fox, but she carried the lessons of the enchanted glade in her heart. And so, the whispering woods remained a place of magic and wonder, where the moonlight fox watched over the land, waiting for the next brave soul with a heart full of hope. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom surrounded by rolling hills and lush forests, there was a small village named Dreamhaven. The village was known for its enchanting beauty, with houses built from gingerbread and gardens filled with flowers that bloomed in every color of the rainbow. But the most magical feature of Dreamhaven was a grand, old oak tree in the village square, known as the Tree of Wishes. The Tree of Wishes was believed to hold a magical lantern that could grant a single wish to anyone who truly needed it. However, the lantern had been lost for many years, and the village had not seen its magic for quite some time. The villagers often spoke of how the lantern's light had once brought prosperity and happiness to Dreamhaven. One day, a young girl named Lila, known for her adventurous spirit and kind heart, overheard the villagers discussing their longing for the lantern's magic. She learned that the lantern had been hidden in a forgotten part of the enchanted forest, far beyond the boundaries of Dreamhaven. Determined to find the lantern and help her village, Lila decided to embark on a quest. With a small satchel filled with supplies and a map she had found in an old book, Lila set out into the enchanted forest. The forest was known for its magical creatures and mysterious paths, but Lila was not afraid. She followed the map's directions, winding her way through the towering trees and sparkling streams. As Lila ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a friendly squirrel named Nutmeg who was busily gathering acorns. Nutmeg noticed Lila's determination and offered to help her find the lantern. "Follow the path of glowing mushrooms," Nutmeg said. "They will lead you to the ancient ruins where the lantern is hidden." Lila thanked Nutmeg and followed the glowing mushrooms that illuminated the path ahead. She soon arrived at the ancient ruins, where ivy-covered stone walls and crumbling columns stood as remnants of a long-lost civilization. In the center of the ruins was a large, ornate door covered in intricate carvings. The door had a riddle inscribed on it, which Lila needed to solve to gain entry. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Lila thought carefully and answered, fire. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in a soft, golden light. At the center of the chamber stood a pedestal with the long-lost lantern of dreams resting upon it. The lantern was covered in dust but still radiated a gentle glow. As Lila approached the lantern, a gentle voice echoed through the chamber. To claim the lantern, you must show a heart full of selflessness and courage. Lila placed her hand on the lantern and said, I wish to bring joy and prosperity back to my village, Dreamhaven. I want to help everyone in need. The lantern's light grew brighter, filling the chamber with a warm, magical glow. The gentle voice continued, you have shown great courage and selflessness. The lantern's magic will now return to your village. With the lantern in hand, Lila made her way back to Dreamhaven. The villagers gathered around as Lila presented the lantern. As she held it up, the lantern's light spread throughout the village, casting a beautiful, shimmering glow over every home and garden. The lantern's magic brought renewed joy and prosperity to Dreamhaven. Crops flourished, gardens bloomed with even more vibrant colors, and the villagers felt a deep sense of happiness and contentment. Lila's bravery and kindness became the stuff of legends in Dreamhaven. The village celebrated her return and the restoration of the Lantern of Dreams. From that day on, the lantern was kept in the Tree of Wishes, a symbol of the magic that exists in selflessness and the power of a single wish made with a pure heart. And so, Dreamhaven thrived under the enchantment of the lantern, and the story of Lila's quest was passed down through generations, reminding everyone that true magic lies in the willingness to help others. Once upon a time, in a land where the mountains kissed the sky and the rivers sang sweet lullabies, there was a tranquil village named Meadowbrook. Known for its lush meadows and vibrant gardens, Meadowbrook was blessed with a unique flower called the star lily. The star lily bloomed only once every 100 years and was said to grant a single wish to the pure of heart who found it. In Meadowbrook lived a humble, kind-hearted girl named Clara. Clara loved nature and spent her days tending to her garden and helping her neighbors. She had heard stories about the star lily from her grandmother, who had always told her that finding the flower was a rare and wondrous event. One bright spring morning, Clara woke to find a message tucked beneath her pillow. It read, "The star lily blooms tonight." To find it, follow the light of the morning sun to the Whispering Meadow. Clara was thrilled and determined to see the star lily. As the day progressed, she prepared for her adventure, gathering a small satchel of provisions and setting out for the Whispering Meadow. The meadow was known for its beauty and tranquility, and Clara had always felt a special connection to it. As Clara walked towards the meadow, the sun began to set, casting a warm, golden light across the landscape. She followed the path through the meadow, guided by the soft glow of the evening sun. The gentle breeze seemed to whisper encouragement as she walked. Eventually, Clara arrived at a secluded grove at the center of the meadow. The grove was surrounded by ancient, towering trees whose leaves shimmered with a silvery hue in the fading light. In the center of the grove stood a majestic, glowing stone pedestal. On top of the pedestal was the star lily, its petals radiant with a celestial light. As Clara approached the flower, she was greeted by a gentle, shimmering figure emerging from the shadows. It was the spirit of the meadow, a guardian of the land with a graceful presence and eyes that sparkled like the night sky. "Welcome, Clara," the spirit said with a warm smile. "You have found the star lily, a rare and magical flower. To receive its gift, you must prove your heart's true nature." The spirit presented Clara with 3 tasks. 1. The task of kindness ***. Clara was to help a wandering traveler who had lost their way in the meadow. Clara spotted an elderly man looking confused and offered him guidance and companionship back to the village. Her kindness and willingness to help were genuine, and the man thanked her warmly. 2. The task of courage ***. Clara was to cross a narrow, rickety bridge over a deep chasm to reach a hidden glen. Despite her fear, Clara carefully crossed the bridge, determined to complete the task. Her bravery allowed her to safely reach the glen, where she found a basket of delicate, rare flowers. 3. The task of wisdom *** Clara was to solve a riddle given by the spirit. The riddle was, I am not alive, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, yet I need air. I do not have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I? Clara thought carefully and answered, a fire. The spirit nodded in approval. Having completed the tasks with sincerity and grace, Clara returned to the Star Lily. The spirit of the meadow blessed her with a heartfelt smile and said, You have shown kindness, courage, and wisdom. The Star Lily's magic is now yours. The Star Lily's petals began to glow more brightly, and Clara made her wish, I wish for the well-being and happiness of my village, so that everyone may thrive in harmony and joy. As the words left Clara's lips, a soft, shimmering light enveloped Meadowbrook. The fields became even more fertile, the river sparkled with renewed clarity, and the village flourished with prosperity and peace. The magic of the Star Lily had brought a lasting blessing to Meadowbrook. Clara returned to her village, where she was greeted with gratitude and celebration. The villagers marveled at the new vitality of their land and honored Clara for her selflessness and bravery. Clara's wish had come true, and Meadowbrook became a place of joy and harmony for all who lived there. The Star Lily, having fulfilled its purpose, faded into a gentle glow, promising to return in another 100 years. Clara's story was passed down through generations as a testament to the power of kindness, courage, and wisdom. And so, Meadowbrook thrived in the glow of its newfound magic, and Clara lived a life filled with love, joy, and contentment. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a small, picturesque village called Greenvale, there was a mysterious orchard that lay just beyond the village's edge. The orchard was known for its extraordinary trees that bore fruits of all colors, crimson apples, golden pears, and emerald grapes. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the orchard's magical qualities. It was said that the orchard's fruits had the power to grant wishes, but only if the heart of the wishmaker was pure. The orchard had been tended by a reclusive gardener named Eldrin, who was as old as the hills and known to possess a wisdom that seemed almost otherworldly. Eldrin was kind-hearted but seldom spoke to anyone, preferring the company of his beloved trees. One autumn, a terrible drought struck Greenvale, and the villagers faced a dire situation. Crops failed, and the village's once lush fields turned brown and brittle. With their food supplies dwindling, the villagers were desperate and turned to their old tales for hope. The most persistent story was of the enchanted orchard and the wish-granting fruits. They decided to seek out Eldrin and ask for his help. Among the villagers was a brave young girl named Ilara. Ilara was known for her selflessness and determination. She volunteered to go to the orchard and speak with Eldrin, hoping to convince him to help save the village. Ilara made her way through the overgrown paths to the orchard, where the trees stood silent and still. She found Eldrin tending to a grove of trees with his gentle touch. With a respectful bow, Ilara approached him. Eldrin, Ilara said, our village is suffering from a terrible drought. We've heard of the orchard's magic and come to ask for your help. Please, can you grant us a wish to save our home? Eldrin looked up from his work, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of ages. The orchard's magic is a gift, he replied slowly. But it can only be used if the wish is made with a pure heart. To prove your sincerity, you must first complete 3 tasks. Ilara nodded, determined to help her village. Tell me what I must do. Eldrin smiled faintly and said, the first task is to bring back a single feather from the golden phoenix that resides on the peak of Mount Solis. The second task is to collect a drop of moonlight from the Lake of Luminance. And the third task is to find the hidden starflower that blooms only under the light of the full moon. Ilara set out immediately, knowing that these tasks would be challenging. Her first destination was Mount Solis. The climb was arduous, but Ilara's resolve never wavered. As she reached the peak, she saw the magnificent golden phoenix, its plumage shimmering like the sun. With great respect and courage, Ilara approached the bird and asked for a feather. The phoenix, sensing her pure heart, willingly gave her a single golden feather. Next, Elara journeyed to the Lake of Luminance. The lake was magical, reflecting the night sky with such clarity that it seemed like a mirror to the stars. With the help of a friendly firefly who guided her, Elara captured a drop of moonlight in a delicate vial. The final task led Elara back to Greenvale, where she waited for the full moon. Under its silvery light, she ventured into the forest once more, searching for the elusive starflower. After hours of searching, she spotted a faint glow amidst the underbrush. There, nestled among the roots of an ancient oak, was the starflower, its petals sparkling like the night sky. Elara carefully plucked the flower and returned to Eldrin with all 3 items. Eldrin examined the feather, the vial of moonlight, and the starflower with great care. He nodded approvingly. "You have completed the tasks with bravery and a pure heart. Now, make your wish." Elara closed her eyes and wished with all her heart. "I wish for the drought to end and for our village to be restored to its former glory." As Elara spoke, a warm, golden light emanated from the starflower, mingling with the moonlight and the golden feather. The orchard responded to the magic, and the trees began to glow softly. The enchantment spread throughout Greenvale, and within moments, the village's fields and gardens were lush and green once more. Water flowed through the dry riverbeds, and the villagers rejoiced in their restored abundance. Eldrin smiled as he saw the transformation. "Your wish was indeed pure, and your heart true. The orchard's magic has brought back prosperity to your village." Grateful and relieved, Elara returned to Greenvale as a hero. The villagers celebrated her bravery and the revival of their land. Eldrin, touched by Elara's courage and selflessness, continued to tend the orchard, ensuring that its magic would always be there for those in need. And so, Greenvale flourished once more, a testament to the power of kindness, bravery, and the magic of the enchanted orchard. The end. Once upon a time, on a rugged coast where the sea met the land with a mighty roar, there stood a lighthouse unlike any other. This lighthouse was known as the Enchanted Lighthouse, and it was said to have magical powers that could guide lost sailors safely to shore and grant one true wish to anyone who proved themselves worthy. In a quaint village nearby, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara had a heart full of dreams and a spirit of adventure. She loved to listen to the tales of the Enchanted Lighthouse and often wondered about the magical wish it was said to grant. Her father was a fisherman, and their family struggled to make ends meet. Clara's greatest wish was to bring prosperity and joy to her family and village. One stormy night, a fierce tempest struck the coast. The winds howled, and the waves crashed violently against the shore. Clara's father and other fishermen were out at sea, battling the storm to return home. The lighthouse, usually a beacon of hope, seemed to be shrouded in darkness as the storm raged on. Determined to save her father and the other fishermen, Clara decided she would visit the enchanted lighthouse and seek its magic to guide the sailors safely back. With a brave heart and a lantern in hand, she set out into the stormy night. The journey to the lighthouse. As Clara approached the lighthouse, the storm seemed to grow fiercer. Lightning flashed, illuminating the towering structure, and the wind howled with a voice of its own. Despite the harsh weather, Clara pressed on, her determination unwavering. When she reached the lighthouse, she found the door locked and covered in magical symbols. Clara took a deep breath and touched the symbols, trying to remember the tales she had heard about the lighthouse's magic. The stories spoke of a challenge that needed to be met with courage and a pure heart. A soft, ethereal voice echoed from the lighthouse. "To enter, you must solve the riddle of the storm. Only then will the magic be revealed." The voice spoke a riddle that seemed to blend with the howling wind. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I need water to live. What am I?" Clara thought deeply as the storm continued its fury. Her mind raced through the riddles she had heard in her childhood. Finally, she realized the answer. "A cloud," she called out. The lighthouse door creaked open, and Clara stepped inside. The interior was warm and glowing, filled with shimmering lights that danced like stars. Inside the lighthouse, the inside of the lighthouse was filled with magical objects and glowing orbs. In the center stood a grand, ancient book that seemed to radiate a soft light. Clara approached the book, which opened on its own, revealing a page with a simple request: "Make your wish." Clara looked at the book and closed her eyes. She thought of her family, the struggling villagers, and the storm that threatened their lives. "I wish for the storm to end, for the safety of my father and the fishermen, and for prosperity to return to our village," she whispered. As she spoke her wish, a brilliant light filled the lighthouse, and the storm outside began to calm. The rain softened, the wind eased, and the dark clouds began to clear. The lighthouse's beam shone brightly, cutting through the storm and guiding the fishermen safely back to shore. When Clara returned to the village, she found the storm had passed, and the villagers were celebrating the safe return of the fishermen. Her father, tired but safe, embraced Clara with relief and pride. The village was alive with joy, and the once ravaged land began to show signs of new growth. Clara's wish had not only saved the fishermen but had also brought a bountiful harvest to the village. The crops thrived, the fish were plentiful, and the village's fortunes turned around. Clara's bravery and selflessness had made a profound difference. A new legend, the tale of Clara's bravery, spread throughout the land. The enchanted lighthouse became a symbol of hope and courage, and its story was told to inspire others. The villagers thrived, and Clara grew up to be a wise and beloved leader, always remembered for her unwavering heart and her act of true selflessness. The lighthouse continued to stand tall, its light shining brightly over the coast, a beacon for lost souls and a reminder of the magic that lives within the heart of those who dare to dream and act with courage. And so, the village lived in peace and prosperity, guided by the light of the enchanted lighthouse and the legacy of Clara's brave heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling river, there lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was known throughout the village for her love of music. She could often be found singing sweet melodies or playing her small, wooden flute beneath the ancient oak tree in the village square. One sunny afternoon, while exploring her grandmother's attic, Elara stumbled upon a dusty, old music box. It was adorned with delicate engravings of stars and moons, and it had a small, shimmering key. Intrigued, Elara gently wound the key and opened the music box. To her amazement, a beautiful, ethereal melody began to play, filling the attic with a soft, magical light. As the music swirled around her, Elara noticed something strange. The melody seemed to create tiny, glowing sparks that danced in the air. She reached out to touch one of the sparks, and in an instant, she was transported to a wondrous, magical realm. The new world was a land of enchanted forests and sparkling rivers. Colorful flowers bloomed everywhere, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of jasmine and roses. In the heart of this magical land stood a grand castle made of crystal, its towers reaching high into the sky. Elara approached the castle, her heart racing with excitement. Inside the castle, she met a wise old fairy named Serafina. The fairy wore a flowing gown made of stardust and had wings that shimmered like moonlight. Serafina welcomed Elara warmly and explained that the music box was a magical artifact that could open a portal to their realm, but only for those with a heart full of joy and wonder. The melody of the music box, Serafina said, was crafted by an ancient spell to bring harmony and happiness to our world. However, it has been lost for many years, and our realm has been falling into darkness. Serafina told Elara that to restore balance, she needed to find 3 special crystals hidden throughout the realm. Each crystal held a piece of the music box's magic, and once collected, they would help restore the harmony that had been lost. Determined to help, Elara set out on her quest. The first crystal was said to be hidden in the Whispering Woods, where the trees spoke in gentle voices. As Elara ventured into the woods, she listened carefully to the whispers of the trees. They guided her to a hidden glade where the crystal lay nestled among a bed of glowing mushrooms. With the first crystal in hand, Elara continued her journey to the second location, the Crystal Lake. The lake was said to reflect the stars even in daylight. As Elara approached the shimmering waters, she saw that the crystal was submerged beneath the surface, glowing faintly. Using her flute, she played a soothing melody that calmed the waters, allowing her to retrieve the crystal. The final crystal was hidden in the Cave of Echoes, where the walls were lined with sparkling gems. Elara entered the cave, where every sound echoed back to her. She played a melody on her flute that harmonized perfectly with the echoes, revealing the hidden crystal in a secret alcove. With all 3 crystals in hand, Elara returned to the grand castle. Seraphina and the magical beings of the realm gathered to witness the restoration of the music box's magic. Elara carefully placed the crystals into the music box, and as she did, the box began to glow brightly, its melody growing richer and more vibrant. The magical realm was instantly transformed. The one-stem landscapes now sparkled with renewed light, and the flowers and trees seemed to sing along with the music. The enchantment had been restored, and the realm was filled with joy and harmony once more. Seraphina thanked Elara for her bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, the Fairy Queen gifted Elara a beautiful, enchanted pendant that would allow her to visit their magical realm whenever she wished. Elara returned to her village, her heart filled with the wonders of her adventure. From that day on, Elara's music was even more enchanting, and the melodies she played brought joy and magic to everyone who heard them. The music box remained a cherished keepsake, a reminder of the magical realm she had saved and the power of a kind heart. And so, the tale of Elara and the enchanted music box became a beloved story in the village, inspiring generations to seek out magic and beauty in the world around them. Once upon a time, in the picturesque kingdom of Celestia, there was a beautiful lake known as Starry Lake. This lake was famous for its shimmering waters that sparkled like the night sky, and for the legend of the moonflower, a mystical flower said to grant one wish to those who found it under the light of the full moon. The moonflower was hidden somewhere in the depths of the lake and could only be seen on the night of the grand moon, when the moon was at its fullest and brightest. In a cozy cottage on the edge of Celestia lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Elara. Elara was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of nature. Her best friend was a clever and loyal turtle named Toby, who had a knack for solving puzzles and discovering hidden paths. One evening, as the grand moon began to rise, Elara and Toby discovered an old, ornate compass buried in a bed of fallen leaves near their cottage. The compass had a glowing gem at its center and a note that read, "Starry Lake awaits. Follow the compass on the grand moon night to find the moonflower." Eager to discover the moonflower and make a wish, Elara and Toby set out on their journey. The path to Starry Lake was bathed in the soft, silver light of the grand moon and illuminated by the gentle glow of fireflies. As they arrived at Starry Lake, they were greeted by its magical beauty. The lake's surface sparkled like a blanket of stars, and the night air was filled with the soothing sounds of nature. However, the path to the moonflower was guarded by 3 enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Misty Marsh. This was a foggy, enchanted marsh where the mist concealed hidden dangers. To navigate through, they needed to answer a riddle posed by the marsh's guardian, a wise old owl perched on a branch. "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you can't go outside. What am I?" Elara thought deeply and then answered, "A keyboard." The owl hooted in approval, and the fog began to clear, revealing a safe path through the marsh. Next, they reached the Bridge of Stars, a delicate bridge made of shimmering stardust that spanned across a wide part of the lake. The bridge seemed to shift and change as they approached. To cross, they needed to arrange the stars in the correct order based on a constellation pattern. Toby's sharp eyes helped them identify the correct pattern, and Elara carefully arranged the stars. The bridge stabilized, glowing warmly as they crossed to the other side. Finally, they faced the Cave of Echoes. This cave was lined with sparkling crystals that reflected and echoed sounds. To find the way to the moonflower, they needed to listen carefully and follow the echoes of a lullaby sung by the cave's guardian, a gentle spirit. Elara and Toby listened attentively to the soothing lullaby, using the echoes to guide them through the winding passages of the cave. After navigating the twists and turns, they emerged into a serene, moonlit chamber. At the center of the chamber, floating gracefully above the surface of a crystal-clear pool, was the moonflower. Its petals glowed with a soft, silvery light, and its beauty was breathtaking. To make their wish, Elara needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Elara approached the moonflower and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the well-being and happiness of everyone in Celestia. I want to see our kingdom flourish and live in harmony." As Elara's wish was spoken, the moonflower's light expanded, and a gentle, magical glow spread throughout Starry Lake and beyond. The light of the grand moon seemed to shine even brighter, and the magic of the moonflower touched every corner of Celestia, bringing joy and prosperity to all who lived there. When Elara and Toby returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were vibrant with crops, the animals were lively and content, and the people were filled with a profound sense of peace and happiness. The story of Elara and Toby's adventure in the magic of the moonflower became a cherished tale in Celestia, reminding everyone of the power of kindness, courage, and the magic that can be found in their hearts. And so, Starry Lake remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the grand moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the trees whispered secrets and the rivers danced with moonlight, there was a small village named Eldergrove. This village was known for its lush forests, where every tree had a story and every creature had a psalm. But most enchanting of all was the Whispering Forest, a magical woodland that no one had dared to enter for centuries. The Whispering Forest was said to be home to ancient magic and guarded by a wise and mysterious guardian named Eldin. Eldin was a gentle spirit who only revealed himself to those with pure hearts and brave spirits. The villagers had always lived in harmony with the forest, but they had never ventured into its depths, respecting the old tales that spoke of its magic and mystery. In the village of Eldergrove lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her love of nature and her desire to help others. She had heard countless stories about the Whispering Forest and had always dreamed of exploring it. The forest had always fascinated her, especially because her grandmother had once told her about a hidden treasure within it that could heal any illness. One day, Lyra's grandmother fell ill with a mysterious ailment that no doctor could cure. Desperate to help her, Lyra remembered the old stories and decided that she must find the hidden treasure in the Whispering Forest to save her grandmother. With a heart full of hope and determination, Lyra prepared for her journey. She packed a small bag with essentials, a map, some food, and a special locket her grandmother had given her. The locket was said to hold the power of protection and was enchanted with a touch of the forest's magic. As the sun set and the moon rose high, casting a silvery glow over the land, Lyra ventured towards the edge of the Whispering Forest. The trees seemed to hum softly as she approached, their leaves rustling in a gentle breeze. She took a deep breath and stepped into the forest, guided by the soft, ethereal light. The forest was unlike anything Lyra had ever seen. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches stretching out like welcoming arms. The ground was carpeted with moss that glowed faintly, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers. Every now and then, Lyra would hear a soft whisper or a faint melody, as if the forest itself was speaking to her. As Lyra walked deeper into the forest, she came across a clearing with a crystal-clear pond at its center. The pond sparkled with a magical light, and a delicate bridge made of vines and flowers arched over it. Standing at the edge of the pond was Eldin, the guardian of the forest. He was a tall figure with a flowing robe of leaves and a crown of blossoms, his eyes shining with wisdom and kindness. Eldin smiled warmly at Lyra. "Welcome, brave traveler. I have been waiting for you. The forest has sensed your pure heart and your noble quest." Lyra was both amazed and nervous. "I seek the hidden treasure of the Whispering Forest. My grandmother is ill, and I believe that this treasure can heal her." Eldin nodded solemnly. "The treasure you seek is indeed powerful, but it is not easily found. The forest will only reveal it to those who prove themselves worthy through acts of kindness and bravery." Lyra listened intently as Eldin continued, "You must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and your spirit. Only then will the forest guide you to the treasure." With determination in her eyes, Lyra agreed to the tasks. Eldin led her to the first challenge, a grove where magical creatures were trapped in enchanted vines. They had been imprisoned by a dark spell that had spread through the forest. Lyra saw that the vines were thick and tangled, but she did not hesitate. She worked tirelessly, carefully unraveling the vines and freeing the creatures. The animals, including fairies and small woodland creatures, chirped and fluttered with joy as they were set free. Lyra felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing she had helped them. For the second task, Eldon took Lyra to a hill where a giant tree had fallen, blocking the path for many travelers. The tree was enormous, and Lyra knew it would be a great challenge to move it. With Eldon's guidance, she used all her strength and creativity, using ropes and branches to slowly and carefully clear the path. As Lyra worked, she felt the support of the forest. The animals and fairies she had helped earlier came to lend a hand, and together they managed to move the tree. The path was cleared, and travelers would once again be able to pass through. The final task was the most challenging. Eldon led Lyra to a dark part of the forest where the magic had begun to fade. The plants were wilting, and the air was heavy with sadness. Lyra needed to restore the magic by planting enchanted seeds that would bring the forest back to life. Lyra worked with dedication, planting the seeds and watering them with the enchanted water from the pond. As she did so, she sang a soothing song that she remembered from her grandmother's tales. The magic began to return, and the forest started to bloom with vibrant colors once again. Having completed the 3 tasks, Lyra returned to Eldon. The guardian was pleased and led her to a hidden glade where a beautiful chest lay covered in vines. Eldon gently opened the chest, revealing a glowing crystal vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "This is the treasure you seek," Eldon said. "It has the power to heal and restore. Use it with love and it will bring healing to your grandmother." Lyra thanked Eldon and the forest with all her heart. She took the vial and made her way back to Eldergrove. With the vial in hand, she hurried home and administered the healing liquid to her grandmother. As the liquid touched her lips, her grandmother's color returned, and she awoke with a smile. The village celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness, and the Whispering Forest continued to thrive, its magic renewed by the love and courage of a young girl. The forest remained a place of wonder and enchantment, a testament to the power of pure hearts and selfless deeds. From then on, the villagers spoke of Lyra's adventure as a cherished tale, reminding everyone that the greatest magic of all is found in the strength of kindness and the power of the heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village surrounded by rolling hills and serene meadows, there was a secluded garden known as the Moonlit Garden. This garden was famous for its flowers that only bloomed under the light of the full moon. The flowers were said to have magical properties, and the villagers believed they brought good fortune and joy to those who tended them. For years, the Moonlit Garden had been cared for by a kind old woman named Elara. Her delicate touch and gentle care kept the garden flourishing, and the villagers often came to her for advice and blessings. However, one fateful night, a powerful storm swept through the village, and when the morning came, the Moonlit Garden was left in disarray. The once beautiful flowers were wilted and gray, and the magical glow had vanished. Desperate to restore the garden's magic, Elara confided in a brave young girl named Ava. Ava was known for her adventurous spirit and her deep love for nature. Elara explained that the garden's magic depended on a hidden, mystical artifact called the Moonstone, which had gone missing during the storm. The Moonstone was the key to the garden's enchantment, and without it, the garden's magic could not be restored. Determined to help, Ava set out on a quest to find the Moonstone and save the Moonlit Garden. The first challenge, the Enchanted Forest. Ava's journey took her to the Enchanted Forest, a dense woodland known for its whimsical and magical inhabitants. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a mischievous fox with fur that shimmered like stardust. To pass through the Enchanted Forest, the fox said with a sly grin, "You must solve this riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Ava pondered the riddle for a moment and answered, "An echo." The fox's eyes sparkled with approval, and it pointed out a hidden path through the forest. "Follow this path," the fox instructed, "and it will lead you to the next challenge." The second challenge, the Crystal Lake. Following the fox's directions, Ava arrived at the Crystal Lake, a serene and reflective body of water surrounded by towering trees. The lake was guarded by a wise old turtle whose shell was adorned with glistening gemstones. To cross the Crystal Lake, the turtle said, "You must prove your wisdom. Answer this question. What has cities but no houses, mountains but no trees, and water but no fish?" Ava thought carefully and replied, "A map." The turtle's eyes gleamed with satisfaction, and it created a shimmering bridge of light across the lake. Ava crossed the lake, her heart filled with hope and determination. The third challenge, the Cave of Shadows. On the other side of the lake, Ava found the Cave of Shadows, a dark cavern filled with swirling, mysterious shadows. At the entrance of the cave was an ancient door covered in intricate carvings. A voice echoed from within the cave, "To open this door and find the Moonstone, you must reveal your true intentions. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with a pure heart." Ava took a deep breath and spoke sincerely, "My deepest wish is to restore the Moonlit Garden's magic so that the village can once again be filled with joy and wonder." The cave's walls began to glow with a soft, silvery light, and the ancient door slowly creaked open to reveal the Moonstone resting on a pedestal. Its gentle, moonlit glow illuminated the cavern, filling it with a soothing, magical light. The revelation, restoring the Moonlit Garden. With the Moonstone in hand, Ava returned to the Moonlit Garden. As she placed the Moonstone in its rightful place at the center of the garden, a wondrous transformation took place. The flowers began to bloom once more, their petals glowing with vibrant colors, and the garden was bathed in a magical light that shimmered under the moon. The villagers gathered in awe as the moonlit garden was restored to its former splendor. Ilara thanked Ava for her bravery and selflessness. And the garden's magic brought renewed joy and fortune to the village. The tale of Ava's quest became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of determination, kindness, and the magic that lies within a pure heart. Under the rejuvenated light of the moonlit garden, the village flourished, forever grateful for the young girl who had restored their magical haven. Once upon a time, in the mystical land of Astralon, there was a kingdom nestled among the stars. Astralon was a place where the sky met the earth, and every night, the heavens would light up with the most breathtaking display of stars. In the heart of this kingdom, there grew a rare and magical flower known as the starflower. It was said that whoever possessed the starflower would be blessed with eternal wisdom and prosperity. The starflower bloomed only once every 100 years, and the time for its next bloom was approaching. The kingdom eagerly awaited the moment, for the current king, Orion, had grown old and weary, and he needed the wisdom of the starflower to guide his kingdom into a new era of peace and prosperity. Among the people of Astralon was a young girl named Lyra. She was kind-hearted, adventurous, and loved by all who knew her. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the starflower and dreamed of seeing it bloom one day. She often spent her evenings gazing at the stars, imagining the wonders that awaited her in the enchanted forest where the starflower grew. As the time for the starflower's bloom drew near, King Orion announced a great quest. He called upon the bravest and most worthy individuals to journey into the enchanted forest and retrieve the starflower. The one who succeeded would not only bring prosperity to the kingdom but would also be granted one wish. Lyra, filled with determination and excitement, decided to embark on the quest. She knew the journey would be perilous, but her heart was set on seeing the starflower and helping her beloved kingdom. With her parents' blessings and a small satchel of supplies, Lyra set off on her adventure. As she entered the enchanted forest, Lyra encountered a wise old owl named Athos. Perched high in the branches of an ancient tree, Athos greeted her with a gentle hoot. "Young traveler," Athos said, "I see you seek the starflower. The path is fraught with challenges, but I can guide you. Answer my riddle, and I will help you on your way. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Lyra thought for a moment and then replied, "A mountain." Athos nodded approvingly and spread his wings. "Correct. Follow me, and I will lead you to the first trial." Lyra followed Athos deeper into the forest until they reached a crystal-clear lake. by the lake stood a beautiful water nymph named Selene. Her eyes sparkled like the surface of the water, and she greeted Lyra with a warm smile. To cross this lake, Selene said, you must show your kindness and empathy. There is a wounded fish trapped among the reeds. Help it, and I will grant you safe passage. Lyra found the fish and gently freed it from the reeds, using herbs from her satchel to heal its wounds. The fish swam away, and Selene, touched by Lyra's kindness, created a path of water lilies across the lake. On the other side of the lake, Lyra encountered a majestic stag named Erinder, the guardian of the starflower. Erinder's antlers glowed with a soft, magical light, and his presence commanded respect. Brave traveler, Erinder said, to reach the starflower, you must face your greatest fears. Beyond this point lies the Cave of Shadows, where your deepest fears will manifest. Only those with the purest hearts can pass. Lyra took a deep breath and stepped into the Cave of Shadows. The darkness enveloped her, and visions of her fears began to appear. She saw her loved ones in danger, her village in ruins, and herself lost and alone. But Lyra remembered her purpose and the love she had for her kingdom. She faced each fear with courage and determination, and soon the shadows began to fade. Emerging from the cave, Lyra found herself in a radiant clearing where the starflower stood in full bloom. Its petals shimmered with a celestial light, and the air around it was filled with a soothing, melodic hum. Lyra approached the starflower and carefully picked it, feeling its magic resonate within her. With the starflower in hand, Lyra made her way back to the kingdom. The journey had been long and arduous, but her spirit remained unbroken. As she reached the palace, King Orion greeted her with tears of joy in his eyes. Lyra, the king said, you have done a great service to Astralon. You have proven your bravery, kindness, and wisdom. The starflower will bring prosperity to our kingdom, and as promised, you are granted one wish. Lyra thought for a moment and then spoke. Your Majesty, my wish is for the wisdom and prosperity of the starflower to be shared with all the people of Astralon. Let its magic bring peace and harmony to every corner of our land. The king, deeply moved by Lyra's selflessness, granted her wish. The magic of the starflower spread throughout the kingdom, healing the land and uniting the people. Under the guidance of King Orion and the wisdom of the starflower, Astralon entered a golden age of peace and prosperity. Lyra was celebrated as a hero, and her tale was told for generations to come. The Starflower Princess, they called her, the girl who brought light and harmony to the kingdom with her bravery and pure heart. And so, the kingdom of Astralon thrived, its people living in joy and unity, forever grateful to the young girl who dared to venture into the enchanted forest and retrieve the magical starflower. The end.